internet, and
is it hot?
Oh, it is so warm already. It's literally been like 30 seconds without the fan on. I'm already taking my shirt off.
His shirt is off.
It is actually
Guaranteed.
off. We have a name!
Woo!
And we have decided to go with PALcast. So yeah, welcome to the second episode of the PALcast.
The PALcast.
Just in case you forgot and didn't care, I'm Aaron.
Ed?
And I'm Ethan.
And last week we touched on a lot of interesting and sensitive topics. This week we're going to be focusing more on gaming industries as a whole, specifically AAA. I think mostly because there's more information and decades of experience to derive from. But we'll be looking specifically at the ethos and practices that have started to crop up over the last 5 or 10 years.
It's really, really changed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The internet, man. The
Oh,
internet has changed gaming forever.
Absolutely. And
Yeah,
like
exactly.
as like someone who's 27 and has been gaming for most of their life, like childhood and adolescent and adult life, gaming's changed a lot. Like the world, yeah, but like fuck the world for a second. We're talking about gaming.
I mean, why do I play video games? It's not to care about the world.
Exactly, it's to get away from it for a bit. So, yeah, no, I've got a lot to say. Just guide me in the right path, good sir.
Of course. I guess we'll just start with a bit of news, and we'll get into the meaty stuff a little bit later.
Sounds good.
Recently, or yesterday, it was the PlayStation.
The Tokyo Game Show.
It was the Tokyo Game Show, but that hasn't started just yet. That was just
There was
the
just the Sony presentation there?
Yeah, it was just the Sony
I see.
presentation. The Tokyo Game Show starts tomorrow, as of the day that we're recording this, I believe. But we all had a good look at the PlayStation reveals and what they're bringing, and it was difficult at times because while there was English translators for what the CEO of Oceanic and Japanese, Asian, Pacific, PlayStation and Sony was talking about, a lot of the trailers were completely in Japanese. So it's going to be more just opinions and what we see on first look. But we got the basic gist of a lot of what we were looking at. And
I think there's enough there to be excited about some things and
Absolutely,
to learn to ignore future announcements from others.
yes, exactly.
100%, yeah.
Like, straight up, there was some games there that I'm like, how did you actually get a spot on this sort of, like, primetime real estate for games? The one that really I found interesting, I thought it was a fucking Jurassic Park game.
Me
was
too.
Cool. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
the park or a park?
A park. I'm like, you're about fucking 3 years too late. Jurassic World's been and gone. They're making a second one.
I've already clocked Lego Jurassic World. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, Japan.
That I wanted that game to be cool, but if the trailer's stuttering at 30 frames per second,
It's not a great sign.
I'm not holding out for that game.
And speaking of games that it's like, how did it get a place there? What was the... I understand that Final Fantasy and Square Enix is ridiculously massive over there, as is, here to a
And
degree,
with
but-
PlayStation, they've been partnered
Absolutely,
since the dawn of time.
But was there like a puzzle game or something, like a Final Fantasy puzzle game?
Yeah, I saw like a Noctis or something, and that was like super chibi. It was like a Mario Party almost.
Yeah,
that was like,
and I'm just like, how is this your big announcement? That's like something that pops up on the PlayStation Store, like, just out of the blue with a bit of fanfare, sure, but not something that's like your announcement for all of your coming autumn releases and everything like that, and into the next year and everything like that. Like you said, prime gaming real estate. That's but then again, I guess that's I guess the different areas market as well.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And they very much seem to hit that nail on the head. They covered a lot of bases. They covered the big AAA titles. They covered stuff for kids, stuff for VR, stuff for just making the PlayStation an entertainment device. Like, did you see that, like, you put on the VR headset and then you can watch, like, in a VR lobby sort of thing. Like, you're watching a symphony recording video game soundtracks and stuff like that. I thought that was pretty cool.
The same with the news as well.
The
Like
news,
the VR news is pretty interesting, where it's like, oh yeah, just pop yourself into a story here and take a look at the scene yourself, which, if that takes off, that'll certainly open up, all this, fake news in the media and everything like that.
I think that's sort of the future for where VR is headed. I don't think it's going to be a sort of gaming platform as originally intended. I think it's going to be.
Oh man, I hope
it's
it's
going
a
to.
bit.
Well, I don't think that'll be its primary use. It'll be for
fair
it'll be for experiences.
Definitely.
It'll be something that you either go to a build like a separate third party building to go do, because they'll outfit with extra tech that's very expensive for that more immersive experience.
Yeah.
Or it'll be a case of, you want to go watch X sporting event, or we're selling this on VR.
Yes.
Yeah, like a pay-per-view kind of thing.
Yeah,
definitely. Right.
Well,
Okay.
when Facebook originally bought Oculus, that was in their press release. That's what they wanted to do. It was like you couldn't get tickets to your favorite band. We'll have 360 cameras there for front row tickets. So you pay X amount, and then on Facebook you can just chuck on your VR headset and watch that band live. Which I think it's cool, and I think VR with gaming kind of jumped the gun a bit. I don't think the technology was quite there. Not so much for the VR itself, but for the processors running VR. It's like I've noticed a lot of games that either railroaded and you're literally like on a train car shooting
Just
stuff.
look at the things. Yeah.
And then shooting stuff as you go. Or it's a case of we want to have actual movement, and it's not true movement. It's kind of like you push the stick and it jumps you forward like 5 meters.
Right. Okay.
Which for me kind of really pulls me back out of the immersion. One game I'm specifically very looking forward to on PSVR is I was going to say Forza, but I know it's not that. It's Gran Turismo.
Yes.
Gran Turismo on VR mode I think will look very, very cool.
Especially if you're a junkie for that sort of thing. You got the wheel and the stick.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a wet dream for that market.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
seriously. And I think this is like the last. Gran Turismo was on PlayStation 3. This is the first iteration of Gran Turismo on this generation
Wow.
of consoles. They also, tying back into PSVR, I've got a lot to say about this. I think you needed a PS4 Pro because it had some sort of technology. Irrespective, they're adding a bundle where it's like a PS4 Pro camera, so you can chuck it on anything and make your your PlayStation PSVR capable, which is great. My only gripe with that is it's 458,000 yen, which, or 45,000.
44,000.
44,000, which calculates to about $450.
Thereabouts, yes.
Thereabouts, so like about $500. HTC Vive is wanting to lower the price of the Vive. Do I spend $300 on a Vive and have literally all of the VR games that are on Steam, or do I shell out $500 for PSVR?
That being said, I think they're beginning to commit themselves to the concept. For example, at this conference there was a fairly interesting game trailer released, which is I didn't catch the name of the game because it was in Japanese characters or whatever. But it essentially boils down to sort of VR Shutter Island, and it's more so like it's sort of in a hospital setting, and it's less sort of that really jump scary like tension building horror. It's more sort of like a subversion of reality kind of.
Yeah, cool.
thing. So what you see what you think is a normal environment, but then all of a sudden like little weird things start happening, and people you thought you saw like aren't there anymore. And it sort of slowly messes with you. I think it's
cool.
more of a psychological kind of
Awesome, rather than just a traditional jump scare horror.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential in the medium to really like build on immersion and sort of play with the mental aspect of VR, because a lot of people get really sucked into like that reality, right?
Absolutely. I think I saw a video on like a virtual reality Counter-Strike a little while ago where some guy's just messing with another guy on his team by crouching down next to him, waiting for him to fire a shot, and then taking the magazine out of his gun.
That's pretty cool.
Like,
that's fucking cool.
The trolling is going to be unreal on VR.
It just shortens the distance from which you can be a dickhead to someone else. Like you used to have to be like miles across the world using the internet. You used to have to like get your headset and start talking shit.
Yeah.
Now you can literally just take the magazine.
Yeah. You don't need to speak. Just suck it.
You know, we're not shooting any bullets today. Go ahead. Sorry.
So one thing that's I'd really like to see with VR games is not just a VR game, like augment it more with traditional gameplay. So what I mean by that is like, you know, in a case of like Forza or Gran Turismo or something like that, which I kind of assume it's going to be, regardless of whether you got the wheel, the controller,
It's just
whatever
a
else.
VR mode.
Yeah, you're in the car.
You can just play the game normally with the stick.
Oh, yeah. But but have that augmented, so it's like, you know, if you're looking to spot a corner in your car, like as you're driving, you know, you can do that because you're wearing the VR headset. Or if you're in an FPS or something like that, you know, instead of having to jump out of cover to see if there's an enemy, just duck your head around kind of thing. And I think that'd be wicked, but are we there yet technologically wise? Maybe. We're getting there.
We're getting there, yeah.
But I think the more external support hardware we get for VR, the better. I think that's what's going to really kick that into gear.
But that's also another killer. Like are you talking peripheral kind of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bit of a killer as well because, you know, apart from people who are really invested in it, like us, the average person is probably going to go, I'm alright with just my basic PlayStation, thanks. I'm having a great enough time playing the games on it as is.
I can't justify spending another console's worth
Yeah.
of stuff on.
But over a 10-year period, that technology is slowly going to become cheaper. And more
Absolutely.
accessible.
Yeah,
Fingers
exactly.
crossed. I'm just talking more like now. Kind
Yeah,
of.
well, of course.
Yeah. And at least with VR as well, what I'd really like to see if we do incorporate a lot of peripherals is tactile feedback.
Well, funny you mention that.
Really?
Today I saw a
get out.
small company making a mechanical glove which responds to in-game tension.
Ooh.
So the footage I saw was
I
someone
just got
holding
mighty hard.
a water balloon, and the glove on their hand was reacting to the pressure of them trying to burst the water balloon.
Oh, that's so sick.
And then the second example I had is in-game, a person's holding a spring with two fingers, and they're feeling the tension fight back from the spring. Now, the first thing I thought was, how long until someone breaks their fingers with this thing? Doesn't take much for this thing to go haywire.
How can I look up porn on this?
Yes, well, as with anything VR.
Well, yeah. Sorry,
Just straight to pornography.
on the PSVR.
It is a world-changing thing.
On the it was like a montage of all the PSVR games that are coming out. There was like a really quick shot of it was like a dating sim game, and there's some guy patting his date on the head.
Yeah,
in
I
VR.
saw that, and
Yeah,
it's just like, that's not the first thing you would have had.
No,
not at all.
To each their own. Someone's probably really excited about that.
Yeah, I get to do her hair. Oh my god.
But yeah, VR is very exciting for me. It's always something that I've been looking forward to even since when I was younger. It's virtual reality is coming.
Oh, it'd be so sick, but
yeah, it's not quite there.
It's got a long way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. The big killer for me, like I said, is the tactile feedback. Like, you know, if I'm that much in a game, I want to be like as much in that reality as possible.
Definitely.
Rather than, okay, so now I'm going to move forward, hit a stick, and then my, you know, character goes forward 5 steps or whatever. Like, that'd be a real killer for me as well, like a real immersion breaker for me at least.
Having to use a controller as well, definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Not just the controller as well, but like,
You want to be all in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Make it an actual virtual reality, not just, you know, another game.
Yeah.
Or, no, you know, a super expensive PlayStation iToy or, you know, the camera or whatever else.
Exactly, and that's very much what I felt with it. What else? Something that really tickled my pickle was it was a game called Detroit Become Human. It was the one that was about androids and shit, and it starts off just like where people are getting on the metro, and then there's like humans on the metro, and then there's a back spot where all these androids hop on, and then I was kind of half talking to Ed at the same time, but it seems like it's getting into this weird I am robot debating humanity and AI sort of thing. Looks graphically fantastic. I don't believe it's a VR game, but that's something that also really excited me. But just to kind of tie up my opinion on VR, a game I really think that would suit it well, and I don't know if it is the new Wolfenstein, where your character is bound to a wheelchair.
Oh, okay.
So it kind of could simulate the visual and justify sitting down while playing it. So it's more just a visual. They can put more into because it's kind of like you wheel yourself and you got the pistol out, and it's kind of like that horror. I can't move, so when stuff's coming at me, it makes it more terrifying. And I think overall, the horror genre of VR is going to be what really pushes it forward, because I think if you're getting a more true experience of fear from a video game, I think that's fantastic.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Not the only experimental thing that Sony's kind of playing with, though, at this convention, right?
Yeah.
There's something that sort of tickled my fancy a little bit that you might have seen it, Hidden Agenda.
Yeah.
So it's
that looks
great.
it's
interesting.
like it's a heavy rain style gameplay where everything's sort of driven by quick time events, right?
And responses to conversations and stuff.
Yeah,
yeah.
And you can have one player and just play through the story yourself, or you can have multiple players, up to 4 by the looks of it.
No, 6.
6. There
Yeah.
you go. Now, if you've got the multiplayer sort of scenario, what happens is the game midway through your story drops someone a hidden agenda to kind of subvert everyone else's. Everyone else's
so it's
idea
kind
of
of
the
like
story.
it's a digital version of like the old party game, the Who's the Murderer, and there's like a detective or the werewolf.
Sort of. It's everyone's in control of one character, right? And they're answering sort of the responses on their phone privately, so no one can see what they're responding. So it's one of those things you can vote, or it'll select someone to make the choice, and without telling anyone, one person gets the hidden agenda in the game. So it's their job, without anyone else knowing, to sort of steer the story one way, while everyone else is trying to steer the story the other way.
Right, okay, cool.
And I think that's a really good play on this whole like multiplayer mobile phone sort of computer game, like Jackbox style. Like
have
everyone
you heard of
gets
Jackbox,
a...
Ethan?
I haven't heard of Jackbox, but
So essentially what a Twitch streamer can do is they go, I'm playing Jackbox, everyone download the app, here is the code for the game, and it's kind of like, I guess, like an ad-lib sort of comedy game where it's like like you put your suggestions in, or there's 4 suggestions and people vote for it and shit like that, and you get points. It's kind of like a Mario Party-esque thing, but someone can do it with 20,000 viewers.
oh wow,
And everyone just downloads it on their phone. This is a smaller scale version of that, where it's 6 people can get their tablets or their phones download, I presume what would be a PlayStation app or a game-specific app, and you can have 6 people playing at the same time, which I think is fucking fascinating.
Yeah, that's
it looks really cool.
I think it's an interesting way to tinker with that sort of single-player experience as well.
Yeah.
Everyone's having the single-player experience, but also like snidely side-eyeing each other.
Exactly.
Is it you?
And it's not the
mother-
typical, multiplayer beer and pizza scenario where it's like you'll play GoldenEye or you'll, play...
Oh, I envision a room of 6 silent people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, just
Definitely.
being like, I can't say anything out loud, otherwise it'll give away my whole game plan kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Was there anything that you seemed interested in, Ethan, about
Yeah.
video games?
I've never been... Full disclosure, I've never been a huge PlayStation kid. I've always been more Nintendo and Xbox. But Monster Hunter World.
Well, that's coming to PC.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah,
I know that.
An official date. Given
Yeah,
for
an
release.
official
That's
date
very
given
exciting.
for release.
When is it?
26th, I believe, of January.
I only know that there was a date announced.
26th of January 2018.
There you go.
Fuck
That's
yeah.
Monster World. At least on PlayStation 4. I don't know about... Oh, no, hang on. I'm pretty sure he said... Because it had both the Capcom CEO and the PlayStation CEO. So I know they said they're going to globally release it on that date at midnight. So everyone in the world gets it at the same time.
Which means we get it earlier.
Potentially, yeah.
That's how it generally works with Australia. When it's globally announced, because we're a few hours ahead, we generally get it 6 to 10 hours before other parts of the world.
Right, cool. To make up for our shitty internet.
Exactly. It takes us that long to fucking download it.
And our awful ERCB. ERS rating system.
Yeah. Finally getting an 18 plus. No, that looks interesting. I think it might just be on PlayStation for that release date, and then other platforms later. Not sure. Probably not.
That sounds about right. A lot of games. Well, Sony is doing deals with a lot of games recently. Our Destiny is announced or released like a full month before PC.
That's actually another interesting talking point that I wanted to go on actually about the whole thing, because again, I'm not much of a PlayStation kid. What really interests me, talking about before when I said about the different market, like the different markets and everything, I was really interested to see Call of Duty taking up two videos. Well, like a pretty massive spot in their initial video.
Mm-hmm.
And it's standalone. Didn't it have a
It
standalone?
had a standalone video.
Had a standalone video as well.
I just gotta say, it felt super not right having World War II American military personnel voiced by Japanese people. That didn't feel right.
Not at all. And it'd be interesting to see if Japan released a World War II shooter, what direction they'd take.
I don't
But
think they would.
probably not, because they're like, let's not talk about all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the US is probably one of the few countries that will be nudging everyone and remember the time we all murdered each other?
Yeah, well, that's the
Guns
US.
and stuff.
But yeah, so Call of Duty, FIFA 18, Destiny 2, all of these very Western things that traditionally don't have a great market over in Japan.
Mhm.
Like, didn't the first Destiny not do too great over there? Or like,
Probably not.
and Xbox sales, no, Destiny was on PlayStation as well. But
Yeah.
but Bungie came from Xbox, right? And Xbox sales did terribly over in Japan because
Yeah,
it's on
traditionally.
PlayStation. It's not
It's not Sony produced. It's
Exactly,
Bungie produced,
exactly.
which is like at the time an offshoot of Microsoft.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So long story short, I guess I was interested to see so many Western things in the Tokyo Games PlayStation release. That was pretty interesting to
This
me.
is true. There was, don't get me wrong, if you haven't watched it, a lot of very, without sounding racist, atypically Japanese style things. A lot of Gundam, a
Yeah.
lot of anime style
Earth
dating
Defense
sims.
Forces
Oh
5
shit, that looks fucking brilliant.
Nuts. I
Looks
think I've
brilliant.
seen a friend of ours, Pierce.
Pierce, yeah.
Yeah, he was playing that at one
The
point.
previous one, I think.
I think so, yeah. And it just looks batshit insane. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure I guess it's like an RPG third-person shooter.
Yeah.
Kind of like Crackdown in
Yeah, except you're versing
giant bugs.
giant.
And then you
I'm
go to
pretty
this,
sure there was a toad at one point.
there was, and then
Yeah.
it goes to this weird Power Rangers-esque moment where it's a giant robot versing a giant something
Yeah,
in the city,
yeah.
and I'm
It
just
looks
like, cool.
nuts. Yeah.
Like, I definitely wanted to have a crack at that. I don't know if it was on there. I didn't get to the end of the Tokyo release, but I presume they would do something on Is Last of Us 2. I think that's going to be an amazing game, just while we're on Sony.
Yeah. Well, it'd be because yeah.
It's
As
going to get
little
dark.
spoilers as possible. It kind of ended perfectly.
It did, but I think there's more of that universe's story to tell.
Oh, definitely. But I mean, that's the same with any universe, arguably.
True, it doesn't mean they're going to tell it well.
Yeah. Well, fingers crossed. We'll see what happens.
But keeping specifically on Tokyo Games Con, which is not what it's called, but what I'm calling it.
Let's call it Damn Tokyo.
Damn, Tokyo, why you got so many games?
A specific game release that I know Ed is going to be excited about is the Shadow of the Colossus remaster.
Oh, yes, I saw that. That looked very
Dancing down the
cool.
streets.
Yeah, I know its impact on the gaming
Top 5
genre
game of all
genre
time.
defining
Wow.
game. Like that was pre God of War, correct?
It is by far and beyond the original release of Shadow of the Colossus the best graphics to moment in time ratio ever.
Shit.
Ever.
That's pretty impressive.
Like,
Even versing all Team Ninja stuff.
That's what I was going to retort with. Team Ninja was very, very far ahead of its time.
Yeah,
Like some of the-
graphically at least.
graphically, yeah.
Yeah.
Like we were playing Ninja Gaiden on original Xbox, correct?
Holy fuck, yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa!
And that
I
game
had
was-
in mind that was a 360 title.
Nope. It was
Jeez.
Xbox
alright,
original, wasn't
time
it?
to whip out the nostalgia sword. All blinded by the things we liked.
Yeah, okay, yeah, fair enough.
But like,
I
yeah.
mean, I'm clearly blinded also, but
don't get me wrong.
I think it's gorgeous.
Yeah,
it
looks beautiful.
Oh,
puts modern games to shame still,
Yeah.
in
Wow,
my opinion.
okay, cool.
And just like the creativity of some of the bosses as well were fucking just like
Yeah, well, this again.
still haven't been better games created.
About time we get this.
Yeah.
People have been asking for this for years,
Was
and
there not
it's-
a release on PlayStation?
and
right?
instead we got a no. Instead we got a silly.
This is like the Half-Life.
We got this
3
silly
of-
chase your goat dog around game that no one wanted. No one liked
Yeah,
it.
that.
You had a silly
What are
monster.
you fucking talking about?
Last Guardian.
Yeah, the last
Oh,
game.
He
was
had
that
a silly
them?
giant goat dog that no
Hey,
one
he
wanted.
was so cute.
But
It
he never
reminds me
listened.
of-
He was very cute, but he never listened to you. He was a little like scared.
What
You got
was-
very annoyed by trying to control him.
What was the fucking monster thing from the Neverending Story?
Clifford.
Falcor!
Clifford. Not Clifford.
Not
Clifford was the
Clifford
big
at all.
red dog.
Yes, Falcor was a.
Falcor. He
Falcor
reminds
was
me a
a
lot of
flying dragon.
Falcor aesthetically. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I never really looked too much into it, so it's purely just interest in visuals and possibly story alone. But Ico,
Oh yeah.
Which one was that? Sorry.
It's you're a little boy like leading a princess around.
yeah, is that a re-release of the original Ico, or is it a new Ico story?
I dare say it'll be a re-release also.
I must have missed that one. Is it a
Because I-
JRPG hack and slash?
No,
Don't know.
it's very much in that like artistic Shadow of the Colossus, like Last
Oh.
Guardian kind of vein.
Yeah,
It's very very puzzle based. It's very atmospheric.
yeah.
Everyone's speaking gibberish language, but like tone and emotion still conveyed very well.
Oh,
that kind of like
that very subtle, Dark Souls-esque storytelling where not much is said.
but with a lot less intense, I guess.
Yeah.
A lot less bone wheels like careening into your baby.
Yes, I meant more
A
like
lot less dying at every single corner.
Okay, but in the fucking storytelling where it's like you don't get much from Dark Souls. It's very
better comparison. Journey.
Not
Did you play Journey?
Is that the one you just running towards the mountain?
It's like desert.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Game of the Year, but that
Like
doesn't mean anything.
yeah. Oh, I don't know if you played it. I figured that'd be like an easier, more accessible comparison. But like it's more conveyed through tone and setting.
Okay.
And,
Okay, cool.
Sort of like Braid or Limbo,
I guess in like a more
in like an
a
atmosphere.
bigger way.
Yeah,
I suppose.
yeah.
But yeah.
Kind of like
I know
how-
what you mean though. Like
how
the story,
Bioshock
the
tells the
story in
story
Limbo is
without-
told without like anyone telling you.
Yeah.
It's shown,
Yeah.
not told. There you go.
Yeah.
That's the term.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So we've talked about the games that we're excited for from that. What game were you just like, I am never fucking playing that game? That was like worst of show, I guess you'd say, for you.
The all language and cultural barriers aside, the fucking Dragon's Crown,
That looks shit.
that looks terrible.
Yeah.
It just remember on the chick walking ahead, her
That's-
back literally breaking
It was just
every
like,
single time she took a step.
Yeah,
It's
she
like,
had some serious
make
arse
sure you
play.
see my tits. Oh, here's literally all of my ass cleavage. You
Yeah.
can nearly see up my cooter.
Yeah, it
Like-
was...
Yeah, but it's just Japan.
No, but it wasn't even just
They
that. Like,
don't mind a bit of fan service.
no,
Yeah, but
fan
like-
service is fine, but it just looked janky. It was like Castle Crashers with no depth perception.
And that's a remake of a 2013 game.
I remember fucking watching someone play that, and I thought it looked shit back then too.
But now you can play it on PS4,
in 4K.
PS3, and PS
Oh,
Vita,
oh,
and you're still
we'll get
going
there.
through.
We'll get
there.
Oh.
If fucking
That's on the notes.
Yeah.
if your game engine can run on PS Vita and PS4 at the same time, it's going to be a bad game.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, it's
100%.
never going to be good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exceptions mentioned last week.
Yes.
yeah, absolutely.
And there's a few others.
Ed, what was your worst of show from Tokyo Game
I
Show?
didn't really dive that deep. I'm curious. I want to see more Left Alive,
Which one was that?
or is that what it's called? There was just a title trailer. It was
Yeah, I
like 30
remember
seconds.
seeing that one, and I was,
Is that
I
what
was
it's called? Left
intrigued by
Alive?
something like Last One Alive.
Last,
Maybe?
so
Something
still,
like
I'm
that.
still here.
Last of
I'm
Us?
still-
We're talking about Last of Us, right?
Just
Yeah.
hello,
Hello? Hello?
But,
Anybody?
but it's a Squeenix game.
Squeenix, that's
Well,
what I'm
first
calling it from
They
now
were
on.
Square, then they were Enix,
Yeah,
and
Square
then they
Enix,
merged, and
yeah.
they became Squeenix.
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 Sounds like a fucking Pokemon evolution.
But Squeenix. But it's a Squeenix game, and they've got a bunch of the old Metal Gear devs on board, and like
Oh,
old
okay, cool,
artists
cool, cool.
from those games and stuff like that. So it's
The one that Konami hadn't poached.
yeah.
Not, and then what's left of what? Fuck, it's not Miyamoto. Oh, you're gonna butcher me.
Koji?
Yeah.
Kojima.
Kojima. He took a lot of them to do Death Stranding. which looks fucking amazing. I'll get into my obsession of needing to see more of that game later. But yeah, just like on face value, what game just looked shit to you? And I know you're just like super can't say bad about games, but what looks shit about a game for you?
Well, I mostly was paying attention to sort of the key stuff and stuff I wanted to get excited about.
Fair enough.
As you said, the side scrolling kind of jam. Yeah. So when it's been done better,
I can feel that,
many times.
Yeah.
Like I think that's a hard genre to break into now. You can't do the 2D side scroller, be it like that character action style or that RPG style.
Yeah.
Or
I have like
it's just
6 on my Xbox alone from the arcade.
in this in this indie dev era, if you want to call it that. There's 600 of them a dime.
Yeah.
And some of them are amazing.
Yeah.
And
But
that makes
sucks.
it real hard for others.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think for me, the one that looked most bemusing was either A Train Simulator EXP.
Oh my god, what the fuck was that? Again, another game where it was just like, really? This?
So, as we're saying
Yeah.
before we started recording, can you confirm this to me? Is it just like you're
Train
that
Simulator,
you're
bitch,
kinda
motherfucker, what you know?
undriving?
Train Simulator,
Probably.
bitch. Watch the train go.
Undriving that? Are you driving the train?
But I
Either
don't.
that or it's like a farm game where you got to make
Pressing
moves.
Yeah, I think it's a top-down one and like a
Ooh.
Sim City sort of one.
Yeah.
It looked shit. That and
What
was-
kind of life must you have that you go home and like
Look forward
and
to
do
that.
bureaucracy?
Yeah, you must be like one of those people who like they're
Right.
a noders or whatever that you just like Justice of the Peace. Justice of the Peace people would go home and play a truck simulator. Like,
Right, rough day at the bank.
Yeah.
Time to play with my virtual train. Well, if you had a real train set, I get it. There's a kinesthetic
Like,
pleasure.
yeah,
exactly.
It's
Exactly.
like a cool diorama or something, but
I want to send it here quick.
didn't it look depressing at the end of it as well, where it's like a laptop screen with, something in the background and then like an obviously fake train set on top, and it's just like, oh no.
Yeah, it didn't look great, and it wasn't the remake of a Gundam game. It was the really it looked like it was made on PlayStation 2 hyper polygon
Yep.
Gundam Defense or something.
Gundam Defense, yeah.
And then it had the really, really, really bad at the end. What's happening next? Tension. And it had one of the Gundams floating through space near the moon. I'm like, I don't care.
yeah.
You fight in space. Fucking congratulations. There you go. They're Gundams.
You think you would have figured out this space travel stuff by now?
Well, no, yeah, that. But it's the Gundams. Obviously, they're gonna fight in space. That's like what they do.
Yeah.
Nah, not too impressed with that.
Yeah, I'm sure it's for someone. Just ain't for us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, arguably, the same could be said with the Final Fantasy, the remake of
Nine remake.
and 15 that's coming out or something like that
On
by
PC.
Team
Is it? Yeah, that is coming out on PC.
Which you need the best rig ever in existence to play it, Max.
Oh.
Because again, it's by Team Ninja, and
No,
it's,
it's Squeenix.
I'll
Was-
give it a red hot shot.
wasn't there? I swear there was a Final Fantasy.
It's
What,
always
Final
been by
Fantasy?
Square Enix.
No, I know, but like the graphics by Team Ninja, because Team Ninja.
Very potentially. 15 looks gorgeous. But
Yeah, it looks gorgeous, but to me, who's never been a fan of Final Fantasy, I'm just like, I don't care. And you have 70 trillion characters.
And it's funny you should mention that. Going back to what I was talking about last week, I completely forgot that I played this at PAX. It's like a 3v3 arena fighter Final Fantasy universe game called Dissidia. They had a promotion for it, and it looks like it could be cool, but I just don't give a shit. I recognized Lightning from Final Fantasy X, and
I
that's
think
it.
Noctis from 15, isn't it?
Yeah, he got announced from that as well because all the fangirls love Noctis.
Oh, they love all them boys.
Oh,
Cloud!
yeah.
Save me, Cloud!
Oh no, but 15 is just like
Oh,
Cloud Patrol.
yeah.
It's going about.
It's like Cloud's the producer of a boy band, and they're all hotter than Cloud.
Feels like synth slashes should be played every time they enter a room.
Wow!
Yeah. I'll have a bit of a rant about 15 later from what I've seen, but that will come more into the ethos of what companies are becoming, and I'm not sure I like where Square Enix is going.
Damn shame.
I don't think they know where they're going, to be perfectly honest.
No.
it's kind of like the opposite of what Konami's doing, where they're pretty much cutting all of their video game funding and they're just doing fucking pachinko machines. It's the opposite, where they're going, we don't know. So literally at PAX, I saw a Final Fantasy game, a remake, Dissidia, and a Final Fantasy card game. All Final Fantasy universe. They're just going, this is our only good IP. Just fucking everything. Like,
there's a lot of money in those microtransactions, man.
Yeah, and I guess we'll.
EA.
Yeah, I guess this
It's
is
a
where we'll
great tipping point.
where we'll move into the media part of the discussion. Unless you guys had anything else that you wanted from Tokyo Con.
Shadow of the Colossus. Yeah, I'd probably just be, looking at a few of the games that I mentioned earlier. That's about it.
Yeah, cool. So I feel like what started a lot of AAA game companies' shitty practices started with mobile games. And I'm not going to dive much into mobile games, but mobile games were the first instance, bar like Team Fortress with the hats, and I guess early MOBAs with skins, where microtransactions were really prevalent. Like your farm games where you buy the gems to do the stuff quicker, and microtransactions are a big issue in today's gaming. Everything.
Yeah,
like,
I'm interested in your opinion on this, Aaron, because you play a lot of games where these are pretty prevalent.
Mhm.
Where do you draw the line? Is aesthetic?
It has to be just aesthetic. As soon as
is that an okay thing to?
That's
sell to people?
fine. Yeah, definitely. Like I've spent good couple $100 on Heroes of the Storm skins or loot boxes now for it across multiple accounts. I draw the line at statistical advantages.
Yeah, pay to
Sure.
win.
Pay to win is where there's an issue. If you just like, I fucking love this game and I want to spend $5 to make my, for example, Tyrael in Heroes of the Storm to be a demonic Tyrael because of that fucking inherent.
Or if I want, for example, my Muradin to be covered in chocolate and wonderful.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to do that, that's fine. That's your own paycheck. I don't care what you do with it, and I think that's fine. That it allows for games to get a steadier flow of income that isn't an expansion release or a subscription base. It's a good alternative to subscription base because it generates them more income
Without hampering anybody's ability to play.
Exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
That and it's a fans like thank you as well buying that kind of stuff. It's a free game, you know.
Exactly.
It's your contribution towards what makes that game free.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Buying that kind of thing.
I also draw the line at Shadow of War, which is the sequel to Shadow of Mordor.
Mhm.
It's a single-player game with microtransactions in it.
What?
Yeah.
And in what way? Can you elaborate?
I can't specifically, but I presume it would be the first one. They kind of hinted at this kind of like war thing where it's time-based. Imagine
like waiting to play your game that you bought.
Yes. Or like assassinating people. Or it could be a case of I want to be OP from the start, so you dump $40 more into the game and you get the end game abilities at the start.
Well, if it's a war style thing, a la Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, where you're sending guys out to do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that's what
it might just be a speed up,
which is still fucking shitty.
speed up currency. Well, if
It's
it's
still fucking shitty.
a single player game, it's not affecting anyone. If you're that kind of person that's going to say, I don't want to play the game, I'd rather pay to make stuff happen.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I get that, and it's like it's not impacting anyone, but it's also like it shouldn't even be there. Like,
Well, I feel like it's probably auxiliary a little bit to the main game as well. Like a little separate kind of Farmville-y, like town simulatory kind of mobile game extra to the main content, which is you're going around.
I hope it is, and that it's not.
Because let's be honest.
Well, that's
Well,
all good and well. Sorry to interrupt, but if I pick up Shadow of War and I don't plan on spending any more money on it than buying the game and putting it in my console or PC, if I can't play the game to the fullest because I haven't put money into it, I'm going to be fucking fuming. And it's not like Warner Brothers needs more money. Come on, like...
I have a feeling that natural progression will be in line with, like, in-game progression in that sense of things.
You can still do everything,
Yeah.
but you can just do
But
things
if
quicker.
you're a terrible person that doesn't want to play video games but buys them for some reason, you can pay to play the game for you.
Yeah.
That's like the whole microtransactions thing with like Battlefield and everything like that, especially Battlefield 4, I think it was. So
Yeah. There's like straight up loot boxes in Battlefield 1 as well.
Loot boxes.
God damn it.
Paying for the thing that you don't want, so you get the thing that you want.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
Because, yeah, exactly. Do you want to buy the thing you want, or would you like a mystery box?
I know we used to let you pick the thing
It gets shittier. There's a shittier tier of that as well. Fucking CSGO, and it's in Player Unknowns. You have to buy the loot box, and then you have to buy a fucking key for that loot box as well.
Good God.
No.
And then there's a lottery for the chance to get the fucking skin you want. There's 3 different
My
fucking...
lord.
There's like paygate, and then a gamble. You have to pay twice to sit at the table and gamble.
What happened to video games,
Yeah.
guys?
And then...
Wrap this podcast up. They're dead. This is it.
And then in Steam, there's a Steam marketplace where you can then get those skins for your gun or a pink skirt for your character in Player Unknown and sell that back to other players. And if there's a new skin with a 0.0001% drop rate, you can sell that for 1,000 plus real dollars. And then never have to pay for a game on Steam ever again.
Yeah. Wow.
It's a slippery slope, and that's why I don't like the Shadow of War, I guess, to tie it back, is because it's unnecessary. Like,
It's a single player game, like you said.
well,
Like,
even in multiplayer games, like, it's kind of happening with Heroes of the Storm. Sorry, I'm going to go a bit of a rant with this. Like,
Go nuts. This is an issue that peeves me also.
in Overwatch, there was the loot box system, which was great. Like, I get to play the game, and then I can get new stuff to make my characters look cool. That's great. Then there was events where they release skins that are only available for the 4 to 6 weeks where that event is running. Then they jacked up the prices of the in-game currency for those skins, so that if you wanted to get all of them, it was literally unobtainable unless you farmed for 6 months before that event to get all of the skins. So you would be more inclined to buy loot boxes just to get the stuff. And then there's such a high chance of getting duplicates and greys in them that you might not even get them. And then this has gone into Heroes of the Storm as well, where it's great. We were retroactively back paid. So there's like an account level, which was calculated based on your hero's accumulative level. So I've leveled 10 characters to level 10. I've got an account level of 100. Multiply that and extrapolate that. For every account level that you've gotten, you got in a loot box. So I got retroactively back paid like 150 loot boxes. And that was cool because I got then, I'd say about $50 worth of, maybe $100 worth of in-game skins just given to me. But now it's a case of they release all the skins not as you buy a skin, you get all 3 tints. You get a loot box, you get 1 tint of that skin, and you can't buy it with just money. I can't just go, I want that skin, buy it with money. I don't think. You have to buy loot boxes and then get shards to craft it or just get it. And it's kind of just like, I'm fine if I can go, here's a pretty thing I want to make my character look cool. I give you money, you give me that. That's where it should end. And that's all that microtransactions should be, I think.
Rant over?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't want to interrupt.
No,
You
no.
seem pretty steamy there.
Yeah. Yeah. I love these games, and I love when they look pretty, but if you do shitty things, I hate you. Sorry.
Can I present a good example of that style of thing happening?
Yes, please do.
Borderlands 1 and 2. Their whole gimmick was, in each hub world, they had the chest,
Yes.
they had the key, like the key chest, where they had, like, almost guaranteed gold item, or like,
Yep.
at least a, like, super rare. So, I believe that you could purchase those keys at some point, right?
I'm not sure. I never really played
Perhaps.
Borderlands.
Yeah, you're the Borderlands.
Either way, the way they, like the alternate way that you could get keys to open this premium, like this awesome items chest, was they would release free ones via guerrilla marketing. So they might, like, throw up on a Facebook post one day, free key. Here you go. Or throw up on a Twitter post one day, like, go to this page, follow the prompts for your free key, or solve this range of, like, puzzles, or go on this, like, little internet.
That's really cool.
Go on this little internet goose chase to have a free key. So, like, they'd announce one's coming up, and they'd have, like, a whole bunch of people going on a wild internet goose chase looking for free keys.
Alright,
So
do you want to hear...
people going everywhere trying to find them.
Do you want to hear a story of it done really badly?
Go ahead.
Assassin's Creed Unity.
I remember something being shitty, but I can't remember what it is.
Regale us.
Yeah.
Oh boy. First of all, they released an incomplete game that they couldn't even fix with day one patch, which I don't even think should even be a thing. You fucking make a game, we buy it, we should have a game that we can play.
YouTube loved it though.
Oh, did they what?
Hits out the wazoo for
It was so
loaded
bad.
apples.
Every single person who bought Assassin's Creed Unity got the first expansion pack for free as a way of an apology.
We're sorry.
Yeah, holy shit, we fucked up so bad.
I remember that.
More of the game because we didn't give you a full game to
Was
start
that the,
with.
like, where you drew the line with Assassin's Creed?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm done. I can't.
Mm.
Because, bit of backstory, I've got all of the special edition pre-orders from Assassin's Creed 1 to Unity. Plus a whole bunch of other figurines and everything like that. So, bit of an Assassin's Creed nerd. So they did that. They were expecting people to obviously buy that original DLC before they went, we fucked up real bad. Here's your stuff back. Or here's what you paid for, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
But then, if you wanted to get 100% completion, which in a game like Assassin's Creed, of course you do.
It's a collectathon.
Absolutely.
In essence.
Yeah. There were certain chests that weren't in the game unless you downloaded their app and solved puzzles in their app. Only then would they, and that's only after you found the things in there. So it wasn't exactly a microtransaction, everything was free, but you could buy power-ups in the iPad game, and to help you solve the puzzles easier, to find the chests, and it was literally just like an aesthetic bonus. It wasn't like there were decent items and stuff like that, but they didn't exist in the game unless you had the iPad thing, and they counted towards 100% completion rate as well.
That's
fucking
man.
dumb. For the people that care about that,
For me, yeah.
Are you a completionist when it comes to
Yeah.
this?
You know I am. To this day, I am haunted by a single gag that I cannot find.
I completed the first one, the original Assassin's Creed. I 100% cleared the board on that one.
Yep.
That had me pulling pubes out.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So could you imagine my fervent horror when I was just like,
That's such a shame
I
because
can't find so many of these chests. Where are they?
I remember when you first got it. I think they first did the app on Black Flag.
Where was the map and everything like that?
That was cool.
That
and
was
I remember
cool.
how much you loved that because
Absolutely.
I just bought you the iPad for Christmas, and then it was just like, fuck yeah, I've got my iPad, I've got my favorite game series. This is like the future of gaming, like
And it was
incorporate,
sick.
and it was sick.
It was sick because
And
it was
then
like
they just
you're on
went,
pirate ships and everything like that, and you're like, oh, and I also need to see the world map, and because there's so many random floating islands and shit, I can like zoom up and say, oh, cool, I feel like a fucking navigator. Quick sidebar: Ubisoft could have literally released that as Black Flag. Nothing at all to do with Assassin's Creed, just Black Flag.
I think they
I
are
would bought
now.
the shit out of it.
I think there is one coming to Xbox, if I'm not wrong.
There is a version of that.
Yeah.
Mostly a version of the ship fighting is what has been released in the trailers. But like
But it
a
needed-
more complex version. Like,
Okay, cool.
there's a lot more going on. in
But
terms
anyway,
of,
yeah, so that was cool.
Yeah.
Like, interesting little thing, novel little feature. It added to the game, but it wasn't like, oh, you need this to progress or anything like that.
It's
This one,
companion app.
yeah, exactly.
They crippled themselves though.
Absolutely.
They crippled themselves when they released Black Flag because they put Assassin's Creed in front of it, and now it's the best Assassin's Creed game ever made that no other game's ever going to be.
Yep, exactly, exactly.
I go into every new Assassin's Creed game going, will this be as good as Black Flag?
Yup, and it's not.
And then I get halfway through, and I say, it's not, and Desmond's not here anymore,
Yep.
so why the fuck do I care?
Exactly. They shot themselves 6 times in the foot.
The two most interesting things that ever happened in that game died halfway through the series.
Yeah, and then Ubisoft kind of went, oh shit, we've got a cash cow here. Just keep it going, we'll figure it out.
Funny story, I was kind of always dissuaded from the Assassin's Creed series. First one was a happy accident. I walked into Ethan's room as, spoiler alert coming, you kill the main Templar guy in Assassin's Creed 1 at the end. You're just
For
like,
those that
I
haven't
literally...
played the 15-year-old game.
Yeah. I
Spoiler
literally
alert.
walked into
Considering
Ethan...
we just said Desmond's dead.
Yeah, true. I literally walked into Ethan extending his wrist blade into his fucking undersoft palate of his jaw. I'm like, I can't play this game anymore. And that's when I was really invested in stories, and any spoiler was just like, no, I can't do it. And then Ethan was really like, probably 6 months later, because you came into Assassin's Creed later, and Assassin's Creed 2 was just coming out shortly after that.
Yep.
Ethan was very elated when he assassinated the Pope in Assassin's Creed 2. And he ran into my room saying, Aaron, I just killed the Pope on Assassin's Creed 2. And I'm like, I'm not playing it anymore.
So I guess the Pope is in Assassin's Creed 3.
Yeah.
That's cool, I guess.
Yeah, so it's been interesting, like, from 2 onwards, I was like, 2, okay, that's cool. Brotherhood, alright. And then I'm like, they're still making these? They're kind of just milking a cash cow. And I hate to sound like super hipster, but I've seen it coming for a while. And I didn't want to shit on your parade or anything, because I know how much you love that series, but...
Don't shit on my parade.
It sucks that you can care so much about a series and then have the company just dick on your fucking face with, like, women not having loading face textures. They're literally...
It wasn't just women.
It wasn't just
there
women?
was so many.
Oh, there
no,
was so
the
many.
thing with women was they decided not to make any of your assassins that you could get women because that would add too many textures.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's
too
like,
much
Ubisoft,
animation.
What the fuck?
And
What
you're
the
like,
fuck are you even
seriously,
talking
that
about?
was like 2011?
They're in hoods!
It was 2011, 2012, and you're really going to open up that can of worms?
I
That was just
thought
dumb.
it was because game devs have never seen boobs before.
Well, have you seen fucking boob physics? They're just like, boing, boing, boing.
Yeah.
I've played enough Dead or Alive to know how boobs work.
Yeah, so that's...
Like bags of sand.
I saw someone describe it a couple of days ago. It's like, they're kind of just like balloons in sacks, right? I'm just like,
No.
no, buddy.
Not at all.
No. Keeping on your, disappointing you with franchises that you love.
Well, Ubisoft has a real bad habit of that. 'Cause
Yeah.
Far Cry's another big one. Yeah.
Please go on with that.
Okay, so, and this kind of sucks because I've always kind of liked Ubisoft as a company. Like, love Rayman as a character; he's
Yeah.
fantastic. Love the rabbits; they're gaming's minions. They're fantastic.
What else have Ubisoft done?
They've done a lot.
They've done a lot.
They've done a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But the big killers for me were Far Cry and Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed we've kind of already poured over a whole bunch. I mean, anyone who's played the original Assassin's Creed series and seeing what it's coming to now with, the Origins or whatever it is, the Egyptian one or whatever it is.
Well, you play as...
I don't even care. I didn't play the last one.
You play as the first assassin as an old man.
What?
Yeah.
That's so dumb.
Origins.
Yeah.
It's the first guy.
The first guy who ever killed someone, that's a fucking lie.
Whenever I guess decided to make an organization.
No.
that kills
The
people,
first
or-
assassin. Who's the first assassin?
That
you play in Assassin's Creed 1, rather.
Oh, Altair ibn Il...
Yeah, you play Altair as an old man.
Again!
Maybe?
What?
Or it's Ezio. It's
Oh,
one
man.
of those two.
Either way,
It's a fucking
fuck
dumb
that. They're scrounging for ideas because they fucked up the story as is.
idea.
But the thing that killed me, because Assassin's Creed was like Ubisoft's big title.
The
for a while.
flagship, yeah.
The flagship, exactly. And it seemed like they
The
just
black
trialed...
flagship?
I hope someone would go there. They seem to trial a whole bunch of ideas in Assassin's Creed that their other games were working on or had a better version of. For instance, Assassin's Creed, I think it's 3, where you play as Connor in America, and you've got this wide open, amazing landscape and everything
Is
like
that with
that.
Voss?
What?
Is that Voss? Is the villain?
No, this is Assassin's
Oh,
Creed.
Assassin's Creed 3,
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah.
Right, oh, yeah.
Where you play as the Native American dude.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. you get one of the most interesting to use weapons and the one that takes the most amount of practice. Like second last mission of the game, or third last mission of the game. So it's just like, cool, thanks for this completely unnecessary
What was
thing. The rope dart, which is fucking
That
sick.
sounds like all you would want from the start.
Yeah, right. So
That and a tomahawk, and I'm a Native American assassin.
pretty much the way it worked, you're up in a tree, you fire the rope dart down at someone and pull the other end down, it stabs into them and lynches them up the tree.
That's fucking awesome.
Right.
Where did you see that next?
Fucking in Far Cry, didn't I? Yeah. Or just the hunting of the animals and everything like that in
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed 3. Where do we see that next and done much better? Far Cry. Same with the crafting thing that Assassin's Creed tried to do, and then Far Cry just did it so much better.
I guess a lot of things from Assassin's Creed became pretty par for the course. Like tower mapping. That
True.
post Assassin's Creed,
But it was
every game in their mother's
true.
gimmick.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. But like, I mean, then I saw it with like, and then it was just the exact same shit with Assassin's Creed. The thing that was cool about Assassin's Creed 1 to Assassin's Creed 2 was the massive expanse in world, was the massive expanse in contextual actions you could do. Assassin's Creed 2 to
Revelations.
to the one that came out. I haven't even played it. The one that came out before
The
Origins.
Cockney?
Yeah, the Cockney one. I know it's the exact same game set in Britain. That's it.
And you have two people.
Yeah, cool. I don't give a fuck.
Why would you?
Yeah, because I already was two people. Desmond was one of them. Ubisoft, why?
Oh, that's who Desmond was. They
I
killed
just-
him. Why?
Yeah.
That was literally the most fascinating part of the story.
Right?
And getting ready to be an assassin in the modern age.
Yeah,
The whole story that
was
they were
the
building
cherry
to.
on fucking top.
Yeah,
and
they
they just
make
went-
like maybe two or
almost
three
once a-
more of those, and then they do a completely like you're in New York City as Desmond.
Yeah.
Run around and assassinate business.
That's how I always
Yeah.
saw it going.
Yeah,
and they did it.
That's how that should culminate, and then you
Absolutely.
don't make another game
Nope.
called Assassin's Creed again.
Yep, exactly. You make it a trilogy, and it's done.
Well,
Or even whatever it was.
Quadrilogy or a
Yeah,
pentalogy.
Or fucking...
they can make it up to now. They just keep Desmond alive.
Yeah. The thing...
And they
Okay,
can
but,
wait to
okay,
put the cap on.
check this out, though. They also did it the other way around. So things that were cool in Far Cry, they added into Assassin's Creed. Right?
Like
They also
compelling
did-
characters.
They sure didn't do that.
No, like the rest of the game that should have been there as special pre-order content. That's what they fucking did.
Wait, what do you mean?
They
I'm
started
confused.
completing games, or
Nope, the other way around. They started
Oh,
making you pay
no.
for the completed games more than just the completed game would be anyways. So Far Cry 3 had all of the extra DLC that you got for the pre-order and everything like that. Like there was
Yeah.
a bunch of extra missions and everything like that. Then Assassin's Creed went, hey, people liked that. Let's do the same thing. The other thing that with the Origins that I saw as well is they just used the fight technology from For Honor. That's
Like,
all it is.
directional. I parry that direction. I attack with that direction.
I haven't really played For Honor because I was like, yeah, it looks cool.
Well,
It's
is
not
that
my
how
game.
it works in Assassin's Creed?
It's
Like
the new one?
directional?
Well, no,
Yeah.
okay. So the old one was kind of like think Arkham Asylum style, where you
Okay.
can parry, you get kills off. You can essentially get through a whole fight of like 26 guys by doing
there's another
one good parry and just
kind of
knifing everyone.
that's another innovation that those games count with Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
the targeted combat system.
Yeah, absolutely. This one's very much like For Honor though, where you've got like stamina bars and parry meters and blocking and smash. Like it's just the exact same combat system as For Honor in Assassin's Creed.
Speaking of, just going back to microtransactions quickly, and For Honor, that was literally pay to win, and it's the only game I've ever paid to win in. Basically, you level up, you get more gear. The higher level you are, the better gear that you get from fucking shit. You can buy loot chests and just give yourself the best gear. And then there was an inherently broken stat called retaliation or something, where if you parry enough, you can like block it. Then you can't be like you can't be thrown, staggered, or killed. I think in that time where you're invincible, and you had no stamina bar, and you did more damage. And so basically, what I did is I paid a lot of money.
So what I went on to do
There
was
was a-
be the
there was
asshole
an-
that buys this shit?
Yeah, well, because I wanted to experience it. I
Of
knew the
course,
game was
of
going to
course.
die, so I'm just like, fuck it. I put like $50 into the loot chest. I got to relatively max level for gear acquisition in the first 3 days. Like, I know life this game 100%. And then I bought a lot of gear, and then I had max retaliation stat, max retaliation damage, health return, and basically I was playing an Orochi, which was a medium to light samurai class, and my kill streaks, which you get when you kill streak, were like a kunai, a longbow, and I think berserk. More damage, you get more health from execution. Oh yeah, and that's right. When you execute in berserk, you get more health back, or something like that.
Yeah.
When you execute in retaliation. Anyways, I would have 3 or 4 people at me out of a 6-man team. I would parry, get my berserk, be a way higher level than them, and already do more damage than them. Get my unretaliatable, wait till they're about to attack me, do that so they all stumble back. Kunai killed one, crossbow killed one. I had 2 charges of the crossbow at this, crossbow another, run up, you're unblockable as well or some shit, so you just execute him with 1 shot.
God.
And then I'd get health back for all of them. And because it was all chat in this, like, fucking pay to win, fucking nerd, go get a job. It's like, how did I buy all this stuff if I didn't have a job? Anyways.
Yeah, well, you should have paid to win.
Yeah, exactly. And then that game has lost 2/3 of its player base in 6 months.
Yeah.
That's unsurprising.
And I lost a controller to that in the first week and I haven't played it since.
Jesus.
Because, I mean, it's fighting games. That's just me as a person. They fucking tilt me because it's that one-on-one when you lose, you know you fucked up. And there's like a lot of like one-on-one duels where it's literally like a 1 meter wide by 5 meter long bridge, and that's what you're fighting on. And there's death pits on the other side. So when you're versing a fat sumo dude and he just like puts his club over your head and throws you off 3 times, and then he taunts you in chat. It's just like break controllers. Anyways, that's my For Honor rant.
I want to cap off our microtransaction discussion for perhaps a break.
Yeah,
with,
I think
with,
so.
with a bit of a pitch.
Yes.
I pitch a game where the more you pay, the more fancy and pompous your character gets. So say it's like a combat game. Everyone else is like, if you don't pay, you just start in rags. If you're the guy that's putting game into the money, you're like putting money into the game rather. You're running like walking around with a cane and a top hat, going jolly
And
good,
purple
dear
felt.
sir, and just
That's
kind of
what
like
microtransactions should be. You should be able to just buy a fancy suit.
and just
though.
nudging like, but your dialogue options become better. You become like inherently
yeah,
stronger.
It's
Like, jolly good old sir. Tally
more,
hey.
more like
You
a
toss him off and,
literal
like, tip your-
status.
Tip your top
A
hat.
literal status in the game where you can be like a pleb or a
Holy
richman.
shit! I'm telling you, without combat, this game just made so much money.
Yeah, but once again, that's why I play games, to escape the real world, so I don't have to think about how poor I am.
My sensibility say anything, all that. It is part two, electric boogaloo, and then we'll take it higher.
Alrighty. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be continuing on, I guess, the same sort of vein of discussion that we were talking about before with business ethos. We kind of talked a bit about a while about microtransactions.
Fair bit.
25 minutes for about half an hour on that. And I kind of want to move into a practice that started showing up around when not just multiplayer games were becoming multiplayer, but where consoles and PCs were more connected to the internet. So when we started having legitimate broadband and DLCs could come out and expansions and day one patches. The first instance I saw of patching personally was back when I was probably 14, playing World of Warcraft for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
and it was like when we had ADSL 2 maybe on a good day, getting that big 4 gigabyte patch is like, shit, can I play WoW at all? Am I gonna cap the internet? How long is this gonna take?
Yeah.
Like, back then it was a fucking like, fuck. And when patches came out, it was like, shit, the game is changing. Like, they're putting all this new code in, all these bug fixes. Patching now just seems to be commonplace. Like, they find a bug, they don't have to just go, oops, that exists now. They can go, okay, let's fix that. But day one patching is specifically what I'm looking at, whereas they ship a game, you put it into your generally console, because most PC games are just downloaded fully digitally now anyways. But you buy the new Forza, and then there's a 10 gigabyte update you have to before you can even load the game.
What was Destiny's? The first one was like 40 gig or something like that? Some ridiculous...
Something fucking
Day one
bonkers.
patch?
A portion of that is a full game's rarely on the disc as well. If you buy games in that way, if you buy like a I guess analog copy of a game, the whole game is not on that disc. That's usually like your setup. So you put your disc in and then the actual game downloads.
Which is shit.
Well, it's just
It's
the
the case.
The CDs just don't have the capacity to hold an 80 gig game anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean, I kind of almost liked that when I never played the Final Fantasy, I want to say 7 was the one that on PlayStation had like 8 discs or something. You're like, this game is a monolith, and it's like, you've completed part 1, insert disc 2, you're like, fuck, the game's just starting, man!
Early
I thought that was
episodic
cool.
gameplay right there.
Yeah.
The Getaway was my first experience with multi-discs.
The Getaway, which one was that?
It was like a British, like, driver kind of, like,
Yeah, I think I remember
GTA
that.
style
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
This is more like gritty TV show style GTA rather than like balls to the wall, jetpack to the top of the hospital
Yeah, right.
version.
The only
Okay.
thing I ever had that on was the extended editions of The Lord of the Rings, but that's me.
I mean, my first personal playing experience, I want to say it was even... Oh, no, it was Enter the Matrix, when we used to play it on computer. That was like a 4 or 5 disc installation.
Oh, yeah, but that's installation versus...
Physically playing through...
Yeah, you're playing it out to the end of disc 1 and then going...
Yeah, true. That was actually very commonplace for a lot of PC games back of that era. But I guess...
Day one patching, though. Like,
It's
I understand patching, and... Yeah, okay, if it's like a big sort of multiplayer game or something like that, and like, particularly a multiplayer game or something like that. So in the case of Destiny or something, that would make sense, because you don't actually have the fucking game that you paid however much for. You just got your character.
A key.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
A game key.
Yeah. Okay, well, I guess tying back into what we were talking about before, Assassin's Creed Unity with its day one patch, where they released a literally broken, unplayable game. That's ridiculous. That's insane. That's insanity. That's not just bad business practice. I'm pretty sure it's illegal, isn't it?
I've seen those credits. You've got QA,
Yeah.
Ubisoft.
Yeah.
You've got people that
testers,
test your
come
games.
on.
Like, those people work hard.
Clearly not.
Apparently, yeah.
People just not being listened to, I imagine.
Well, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the chain... I guess this kind of ties into another issue that isn't fully mentioned here, is pre-ordering. Because they know how much they've sold already for the bulk a month or 2 or 6 months before the game even comes out. It's like, fuck it, we've already sold 500,000, 1 million units. Fuck it, we can just day one patch it. And it's like, there was a big movement of paying with your wallet and shit like that, and EA is pretty bad with unfinished games. Is it EA that owns BioWare? It's Origin, so that is EA.
There you go.
Yeah. With Mass Effect Andromeda.
Oh.
I knew that game was going to be a fucking tank from the first time I saw it, and I don't mean to sound hipster. I've just been burnt so many times by games that I've got a pretty good intuition with it. And people just like, but did you see the trailer? I'm like, therein lies the problem. Did you see the trailer? Like, it's a 4K, perfectly rendered, perfectly simulated situation with cinematic angles. Of course it's going to look beautiful. What did that game have? Janky voice acting, bad facial expressions, which for a Mass Effect game is a travesty because those games were amazing at doing that in games 1 and 2. And then what have they done recently? It's not even a 6-month-old game, and they've cancelled support for that game. Yeah. So you can't say, like, my game is broken. They just go... It's not that they say, I don't care anymore, it's just that you can't contact anyone about that.
That is an awful practice that's crept into gaming. Like, once games are released, people are looking for support, patch support, especially PC. They're trying to get things to work. Devs are just kind of...
Well,
they brush their hands of it. And it's like, you're on your own.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you're a community now, use the community. Go.
Yeah.
Like, I think devs are awfully hands-off with troubleshooting and that kind of thing now. Or even, like, tech support. It's really hard to get a concrete answer on why something's not working for a game. And I think... Particularly on PC. And, like, that's from experience as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think a company that is quite transparent, that is a big company and goes, this isn't working, we're working on a fix, is Blizzard. Not Activision Blizzard. Activision's pretty questionable with it sometimes, but Blizzard... from my knowledge, it's one of the big AAAs, bar 2K, maybe not even 2K, that is not just a publishing house. They make all their games in-house. Like, it's teams working together. It might be like, I know the HOTS one was probably one of their smaller IPs per se, in team-wise. It's still a 100-person team. They've still got 10, 15 animators, 5, 10 community managers. They've got specific people spearheading specific character creation. But more what I was saying is, like, you can actually get answers like, I lost an item for some game glitch reason on WoW, help, and they go, okay, cool, boop, there you go, and they fucking fix it. Or if there was a while where they were getting DDoSed a lot by Lizard Squad in Overwatch.
Lizard Squad?
It was probably an offshoot of Anon or like 4chan. Basically, it's an anonymous hacking group that would DDoS big companies on day of releases or something like that. So if they decide in their narcissistic view that a game is shitty or not worth the public's time, they would DDoS their online servers to stop people playing it altogether.
I have a funny story on that's happened literally the last few days, but go on.
Okay, yeah. You can go on to the Blizzard customer support's Twitter and say, we're suffering DDoS attacks, or there's login errors, or there's something, we're working on a fix. And they keep you up to date with it, and they're very transparent. And sure, it's a big company, it might take a few days for your request to go through, but you will get an answer, and someone will help you with that, or you'll be directed to the place where that can help. For instance, you Ed, when we were playing Diablo, your account got phished or something. There was a big thing, if your account was inactive in Diablo, it was getting phished by some hacker group or whatever from some place, and then being used as a bot, and then they just farm with that, etc., etc.
I don't know how much they got from my trial version of Diablo, though.
No, I think you'd bought a full version of it. You hadn't? Well, anyways, your account was blocked from Diablo, and you got an answer within that night, I'm fairly sure.
Yeah.
Which was impressive, nonetheless. Basically, what I'm saying is, I'm a big fan of how Blizzard specifically deals with transparency, and yeah, I guess...
I feel like it's maybe because they're fans first. They're fans of the content first, and then they're...
Well,
I think they're into what they've done, and they want to keep it running smoothly.
I've got a pretty funny story about that. Earlier this year, I was at DreamHack Summer in Jönköping, Sweden, and I was there specifically to watch the Heroes of the Storm mid-season brawl, which was the global tournament halfway through the year. So the second one's at BlizzCon, this one was at DreamHack, and I'm just sitting there, kind of just like waiting for the next game to start, and I hear a very familiar voice. I'm like, why do I know that voice? I look right, and there's fucking Matt Morheim, the fucking CEO of Blizzard, sitting there with a whole bunch of Blizzard execs, and I'm just like, holy fucking shit, just internally freaking the fuck out. And then I'm like, do I say something? Like, I'm a massive fan of your work. And then I look, and he's fucking sitting there with his wife, eating a bag of popcorn, watching HOTS. Like, he's just being a fucking dude, watching something that he's made, and that's fucking beautiful to me, like...
Well, perhaps he's sitting there going, yes,
play
the game.
Yeah. Well,
play more, deeper into the hole.
That was actually interesting, because I was really perceptive of what they were looking at in a game. And I think it was Fnatic, and it was Fnatic is an all-Swedish team in HOTS, and it was a Swedish home team. So when the crowd went wild, the crowd was watching the team in the game, and they were just watching the crowd and how people were reacting to it. I found that fascinating. But more just the fact that a CEO is coming to the live games of it. Like, I think that's pretty special, and I've got a lot of time for Blizzard as a company. I'll get more into that on the DLC side of things. DLC, rather. What's your experience? You said you had something about a DDoS that happened recently?
Oh, hey, like a day or two ago, someone hacked the Valve website.
Really?
And went to the Half-Life 3 page and like scribbled out the Half-Life 3 logo and then wrote underneath it, "It's dead, Jimmy." And then like redid the like Valve bio page as well. They're like, "Valve is a greedy money making." Like, someone's really, really upset that Half-Life 3 didn't come out, despite the fact it was announced 15 years ago.
Yeah, it's
well,
like...
I want it now. It's like, there have been plenty of other games.
And realistically, if Half-Life 3 was to come out tomorrow, it probably would have gone down the same route as Duke Nukem Forever, where it's just...
No. I don't believe that. I'm sorry. It's going to be, like, the best-selling game of all time if it comes out. If it comes out.
If it comes out, yeah, exactly.
It will be the best-selling game of all time.
Alright. It'll put VR on the map.
Yes.
Because it's a physics-based puzzle game, right? Pick it up, put it on stuff, go to here, pick other stuff up, throw it in something. It's very kinetic game, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
If you've got your
Vive controller.
Vive, there you go. Thank you. If you've got your Vive controllers, you know it's very like kinetic and you can feel.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off there. I felt like a dickhead. And what were you saying about Duke Nukem Forever?
Oh no, Duke Nukem Forever. It was started 10 years ago in development, and you could see because they went like the humor and everything was just juvenile as fuck. It's ridiculous. The game starts with you getting a blowjob from twins. Starts with you getting a blowjob from twins. Like,
alright, target audience found. Like,
yes.
But okay, so,
But,
question,
like-
is that stylistic choice or is that missing the mark?
Well, it wasn't just that. Like, I mean, gameplay side of things, it went from on a rail shooter, much like Phantasy Star Online, and to GoldenEye or something like that. That it was originally. And then it went, we've progressed now. Now we're on to fucking Halo. Halo's the next shooter we're gonna copy. So they had all the Halo levels, and they went, oh no, fuck, now it's Call of Duty. And then they had all the and the mechanics just kept on changing as the technology progressed.
Right. So it was literally a 10-year
True
dev cycle that you could see happening.
Absolutely.
That's
Exact same
interesting.
thing's happening with Half-Life, and the reason it probably never will come out is because they keep going, no, it's nearly ready, we've nearly got there, we're nearly at the technology where we're at the moment. Oh, the next Xbox One or the next PlayStation 4 or the next graphics card for PC is going to come out, and it's going to reset everything. We're
So that's like
essentially going to
another
have to
5
start
years.
again. Yeah.
I don't think Valve are gonna make games anymore.
No.
I think they're just fine.
Yeah.
I think they're doing A-okay without having to make Half-Life 3.
Probably.
And if that upsets a guy or two, I don't think they really mind.
No.
Gabe
Why
does
not
give a
try
fuck.
one of the many other games on our platform that makes billions every...
quarter?
Yeah, right?
Like,
Of a second.
yeah. Like, Steam is the biggest game distribution platform in existence.
Yep.
Past, present, and probably future. And on Half-Life 3, I think there's too much hype around it that it will never exceed the expectations of what people want it to be.
And who's gonna buy it? The 35-year-olds that now all have jobs?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
They don't have time to
Like,
sink
they finally did
16
it, huh?
hours into a great campaign.
Exactly. People
Well,
don't
look at
really
it.
want great campaigns anymore. In the mass, I don't say that because I do personally. I know you guys do. But the mass audience and the psychology of your traditional gamers changed 100%. They want to outplay nerds and be the best.
I feel like
and
they're a lot younger these days. Well, like,
same age. Like a lot of the people that started
and all
gaming.
the people that feel that way. Like,
I think it's just more the psychology.
It's a generational thing. We grew up playing stories.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas, like, what people who are 15 now probably started playing their first big online game was probably Modern Warfare 2. What, the 5th or 6th iteration in the COD franchise? And that is their benchmark. Whereas our benchmark is the Banjo-Kazooies, the Final Fantasies, these story-rich games, and it's just, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Banjo-Kazooie is very story-rich. What do I do? Collect stuff? Oh.
Oh, sounds good.
Well, I was actually thinking about that
To
today.
beat the game? Oh.
Okay, fair enough. Fuck you for starters. But I thought about this because I'm like, why is Ethan like? Why do you like collectathons so much more than me? And for me, at least, it's the universe has to capture me. Like, I'm not just gonna collect shit because I want to collect shit. I want to collect shit because I want to collect shit in that world, in that universe, and a lot of games don't do that for me. Ukulele, I picked up just before I went overseas, and it kind of caught that, but it didn't. It was more just like, haha, we're the people who made Banjo-Kazooie, but we're not gonna say it because we'll get sued, but by God, we'll do it as close as we can. Like,
Yeah.
Another major topic and things that have been happening, I'd say in the last 5 years, is Kickstarter. And I've never been a big fan of Kickstarters, personally.
Here's the thing. Go on.
No. I can say this after. What do you? Because you know the most about
I was just gonna say, if they finish the game and it gets to people, great. Kickstarter's awesome. That doesn't always happen, and that's the problem. Therein lies the issue. There's been many games that people have poured their own hard-earned into, like hundreds to thousands of dollars, because they want to see this thing made, and devs run out of money, or they run out of time, and then it just gets stuck into a hole.
Yep.
And people don't get the game. There's games on Kickstarter that have been there for like years and years and years, 5-10 years, or however long Kickstarter's existed, that people are still hanging out to be made, and like, and there's been instances where devs have gone, sorry, we had your money,
It's gone now.
it's in Phil's house.
Yeah.
Fred's house. Give me my money, Fred.
Yeah, that's definitely, I'd say, the inherent issue at the core. But my personal thing is, like, sure, if people want to see a game made, that's great. But, like, if you can't afford to make the game, I'm sorry, tough shit. Like people don't owe you anything just because you've got a passion project. Make it more simple. Redefine your goals. Like, it's just like, I want to make this, but I don't have money, so give me money so I can make my thing and make more money off you. Why? Because I really want to do it. That's kind of like, it's a really entitled form of development, in my opinion. If there's a case of, like, a company that we've loved growing up, like your THQs or something like that, and it's like, we're making this passion project and this spiritual successor, but we don't have a big publishing house. People go, fuck yeah, I always wanted that game. I will pay to see that game get made. And that way they don't have creative conflicts with the financial board directors of how they want to see the game made. I'm fine for that. I just think there's a lot of people that go, I want to make this and people should want me to make this, therefore I should get money for this.
I mean, there's been a lot of success stories as well through Kickstarter, right? I believe Shovel Knight was a Kickstarter game.
Probably. Yes.
Amongst others.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. It's not like nothing ever good came. Binding of Isaac was as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's all good things that can come from it. I just think there's an air of entitlement from developers, like And it was around the time, I guess, when indie... Well, I guess it goes part and parcel with indie development and that sort of boom where it's just like there's so many new games and so many new companies and so many new things where I just form the opinion of I don't give a fuck about any of it because every 2 days there was a new side-scrolling 2D platformer coming out or something like that. It's just like, why? I don't care. Whereas I like if there's a documentary coming out and the film crew needs catering or some shit or just to pay the actors and you can put $1,000 into it and get a fucking EP credit and actually have a say in how it's created. I think that's fucking cool. What is your... I know you don't know, or not don't know, but don't involve yourself much with Kickstarter per se, but what's your take on the model, Ethan?
If I'm going to spend my money, it's going to be on a finished thing.
Yep.
Plain and simple. I've been burned too much by pre-order stuff. Like, again, talking about Assassin's Creed. I pre-ordered Assassin's Creed Unity. I was like, alright, they've been getting kind of rocky, but Black Flag was cool. Unity's going to be sick. It was not.
Yeah.
And I was like, what did I actually pay for here? I paid $160 for a figurine, a bunch of digital content, and a game. $160. Like, the figurine wasn't even that cool.
For Unity specifically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
For Unity,
Other ones are fucking amazing.
Yeah, the other ones are great, but like, who gives a fuck about Arno? Ezio and Desmond and Altair were the three main dudes. Anyway, point being...
Let's not go back down that road.
Yeah,
That's a rabbit hole.
Can you tell I've got a little bit of history with that?
We took a good 15 minutes on that one.
Yeah, but yeah, I've been burned too many times by pre-orders before, so now I've kind of like, if a game's good, I'll find it soon enough, and then I'll probably get it for a discount price later on anyway.
I've actually very much noticed that as well, because you were very much of a day one pre-order for years, and now it's just like, that's cool, I'll get to it. And I mean, I guess that comes with being an adult and having bills and a life. It's like, I
have to feed myself?
Yeah, I can't spend...
crap.
I've got rent, and if I buy Assassin's Creed pre-order, I don't have a place to live that week.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess that's growing up and kind of paying with your wallet as well.
But I mean, still, as an adult gamer, like, that's you know, I don't spend my money on other things and other, you know, events or hobbies or anything like that, so I can spend money on gaming from time to time when I want to. It's just nothing's arguably... captured my attention and imagination enough for me to warrant a pre-order. Me to go, I am that stoked about this coming game that, yep, here's my money, before I've even seen anything on it. Here you go. I've done that too much. I've lost too much money that way, and been disappointed with too many games. And also, kind of grown up where it's kind of like, do I really need, like, fucking with a few pre-order things for Dead Space. Ruined the game. Ruined the game completely. Because it's this cool, you know, psychological thriller where you're really underpowered at the start of it and everything like that. And you work your way up to getting all these sick weapons and everything like that. And from the outset, if you got the pre-order edition, you got given, like, a kick-ass flamethrower and like 6 trillion other weapons that you could use to just destroy everyone from word dot, plus some extra power armor or whatever. So I was like, oh, so it's not the game anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, defeats the purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
A good instance of that I found was Team Ninja's Souls-esque game Neo that came out earlier this year. It wasn't so much a pre-order bonus. I think it was just like, I think you got it if you did pre-order, but they had a lot of copies left because it wasn't a great day one sales, which is fine because it's a fucking amazing game. Anyways, it was kind of like the little slip that you get inside the case for extra content. It was like this badass red set of samurai armor with antlers and stuff on that, but through the inherent scaling of that game, it would not get you past level 1 or 2. It was cool, and it was like, so you're not using a wooden stick and rags, and you looked fucking awesome, so you could play the game straight away, but it wasn't like, I'm going to use this for the rest of the fucking game.
Yeah.
And I think, for the most part, like, Dead Space was like 7 years ago or something like that, wasn't it?
I think it was just Dead Space 2, but yeah.
That franchise started a while ago, but yeah. There was a lot of that in that, and I think devs have realised people don't want to break their game when they get it.
But it wasn't even that. Like, I mean, a lot of the pre-order stuff as well was like was, alternate costumes or something like that as well. Now, it's a little bit different from what you were talking about earlier about HOTS and stuff, where it's like, you've played the game a lot, you're invested and interested enough that you're like, I want to make this mine kind of thing. This is complete blind faith going, yeah, these digital clothes will be cool. This digital horse armor will look fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, takes you back to the whole Kickstarter thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It might be cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's kind of what I
The
was
same
likening it to.
parody,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like, that's why I don't do Kickstarter, because I'm like, I'm too soured by all the pre-order stuff that I'm like, as cool as the things are, so what if you're getting an executive producer credit if the thing never gets made anyway?
Yeah, funny you should mention that as well. Just kind of like that seems cool, people throwing their money at it. Ashes of Creation, which I played at PAX. Because I'm like, something about that was like, this seems super fucking familiar. On the video, which was like their pre-alpha Kickstarter video, it was kind of like, you're a mage and you can fucking, with your mind powers, move boulders and fucking get to places other people can get to. And it had that real sense of journey and adventure, but MMO. And then when I was looking at the playtest, it was like, oh, you're a cleric, so you get to clear poison and everyone's gonna have a cleric. So it's like, now it's my turn, here's my special ability. But that was one of the fastest raising Kickstarters in existence. And I'm just like, this is a bold statement, and I know it's tech alpha, but even looking at it, I would prefer to play WoW over that game. I bought a shirt and a hat because they were cool logos, but even the shirt was average quality. You know that really itchy linen that isn't a soft cotton? And I guess it was kind of just a sentiment.
You need
for
to pre-order the t-shirt together. Premium blend.
No, you need the day one shirt patch.
Yeah, day one cotton softener.
Sorry, the 12 people that tested your shirt before you missed that one.
Yeah. I guess kind of another thing that goes with that is, fuck, I completely spaced on what I was going to say. I had a really good segue and it's gone.
How about this thing?
Yeah, I completely forgot what I was like, alright, if I say the segue, I'll remember it. Nah, it's completely gone.
Maybe it's on a gradient, right? So you're paying for something that you don't know what it's like, without paying for things that aren't finished yet. How do you feel about that?
I think that's a very common trend in gaming in general.
The whole early access deal.
Yeah.
Buying a non-finished game.
You know what really
Part of
bugs
the
me
game.
about modern gaming?
What?
When you buy a single-player game that you cannot play unless you're connected to the internet.
You know what's funny? That's shit, but you know what's funnier?
What?
When there's an online-only game that doesn't work online. Like The Crew. Like, I was working at nondescript game retailer at the time. And so many people came and was like, well, I'm here to get the fucking Crew and it's gonna be the sickest. And then literally the next hour is working. It's like, it doesn't work. And then we got like a member.
I got the Crew and it wasn't the sickest.
No, it didn't fucking work. They couldn't play it. Like, they needed to, like, a month later or 2 weeks later release an online patch so you could actually play the game. There was no single player. It was only online. It was literally a broken game, and you could not play it.
Yeah, you know what's worse than that? Getting a single-player game that you don't need the internet to play in any way, shape, or form.
True.
Like, Diablo was originally, once upon a time, or fucking Guitar
that's
Hero.
True. Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, I do enjoy the latest Guitar Hero iteration. I think it's very cool, but the amount of errors that they get, it's like, how did this pass playtesting? How did no one get these? Or how did you do nothing about it?
I just want to plug my Xbox into the party, not worry about internet, and just fucking... It's like karaoke, but not. Or even, in later iterations, literal karaoke with guitars and drums and shit.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
And that was fine. That was great. The amount of hours that we sunk into just Guitar Hero 3 Legends of Rock on Wii, literally like half a year of that was only what we played with Guitar Hero.
100%, yeah.
And we would just literally grind out campaigns or songs that we loved.
Yeah, it got to the point where I could play a song without looking at the screen once the entire time, just
on the
on
highest
expert,
difficulty.
yeah.
Yeah, you need to do a deep dive into that online community. Holy shit! There's a real deep Guitar Hero community
Really?
on Twitch. Yep.
What?
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know
There's
that.
some pretty special people out there.
Not.
No. Special as in talented.
Yeah. You've seen the video.
Not
of the...
special as in Mummy loves you. Stop it.
But no, I guess also what we wanted to talk about was Kickstarter. Not Kickstarter, it was early access. And it's like the same coin but the different face of kickstarting, where it's like, here's a game, it's not finished, that's fine, we said it was early access and you've already given us $30.
So if you find problems, not our fault.
Also, let us know.
But an early access game has recently been just smashing figures out of the ballpark. A little game you may have heard of called PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. Blue Spot, which was created by an ex-developer of H1Z1, which was the predecessor and previous giant of this Battle Royale franchise.
Is that intentionally close to the swine flu virus name? Isn't it H1N1 or something like that?
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure.
Well, I think there's a zombies mode, so maybe I think it's close to...
Equine flu, maybe. Horse flu?
I can't remember.
But yeah, anyway, I think there's a zombies... I think it's kind of a tie-in to, because it's an offshoot of the DayZ mod and shit like that.
Yeah. And it makes sense, H1Z1.
It's kind of like a flu zombie sort of thing.
Get it? Because we're zombies.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, the guy had great ideas for H1Z1, and then the higher up devs were like, no, and he's like, well, I'll get my own battle royale with blackjack and hookers, and
in fact, forget the battle royale.
Yeah, exactly. But he didn't forget the battle royale. He made all of his fucking
forgot
dreams.
the blackjack and hookers.
Yeah,
in fact.
Yeah, and recently, as of yesterday.
Well, let me drop some numbers on you.
Yeah, go for it.
1.3 million concurrent players.
Jesus Christ.
More than Dota has ever had in its entire history.
Yeah.
The same as Destiny on launch. 1.3 million concurrent players. It's the all-time Steam record by a fair whack.
What did WoW have? What's WoW's peak concurrent?
They don't release concurrent players, but they've had 10 million subscribers at their peak.
That doesn't count.
No, because it's that's 10 million subscribed accounts.
Yeah, exactly.
Not factoring in how many accounts. I think people have estimated around 7 million, maybe, but Blizzard don't release those facts, so we don't have the cold, hard facts.
Yeah.
But that's an early access game, and they have got so much, and have released so much. They're releasing not only a full map. You've seen how big the H1Z, the PlayerUnknown's map is. They're releasing a whole new desert map. They're adding fog. They're adding vaulting. Admittedly, things that should be in their stuff, but it's early access, so it's fine. They've added probably, I'd say, in the last 2 months, 10 new guns with new scopes and changed functions where the frying pan wasn't just a mean weapon, but it literally protects your butt like armor. So where the bullets can ping off that and stuff. They've added Tommy guns. They've added 2x scopes to 8x scopes to Kar 98Ks to it was literally like M16s, AKs, a few SMGs and pistols and magazines, and 3 to 4 months later you've got a full everything, ghillie suits,
that's pretty cool.
It's very cool.
It's insane. You got to put it into perspective. At the moment it's barely a game. It's one map, 2 game types, an impressive server load, sure.
Yeah.
Peaking at the same amount of players online at any one time as the most hyped first-person shooter release of the last 10 years.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
It's actually pretty amazing.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's amazing what YouTube can do for a game, right?
And Twitch as well. When fucking someone who can get 25,000 viewers a night plays it, it will explode. And I think it's also interesting that it wasn't that long ago. I'd say 2 months ago that they were like hyped to announce that they had 800,000 concurrent viewers. So a 500,000 concurrent player growth in under 6 months. That's pretty insane. Like, so to grant some perspective on it, Dota 2, which was the previous Steam record holder,
Correct.
had a $12 million prize pool for one of their internationals. 12 million, and that's just a crowdfunded. Oh, sorry, 7 million of that was crowdfunded, because there's a thing where it's like compendium, and I'm not exactly sure how it works, but you get an in-game guide or something, and then like 75% of what you pay towards the compendium goes towards the prize pool. $12 million prize pool, and this game has got more.
That being said, once like fleshed out competitive scene hits PUBG, that shit's gonna be fucking compelling.
Oh yeah, and what if they figure out like spectating properly and those tense moments where
oh
like,
my god,
I think I'm actually getting some nerd chills thinking about it.
I'm seeing like floating cameras. And
yeah, exactly, like side by side. So you've got like two guys just lying in the bush, and then some guy gets a shit circle, and then the crowd goes wild, and then fucking fanatic 420 ghillie suit wearer.
Have you guys heard of / seen the movie Condemned? It's like American battle royale with Stone Cold Steve Austin in it.
No, I haven't. I've only watched the Japanese.
This is
one.
They stream their like battle royale online. This is what I'm channeling my fantasy into.
I have. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the most dangerous game is fantasy. Going into watching competitive PUBG.
Yeah.
It's like it's blood sport without the blood sport, like,
and then just the strategy involved. Like, I saw a video of a guy that spent an entire game AFK and won it.
Yeah, people go for pacifist runs.
No, AFK.
Oh, he AFK
wasn't at his computer and got a chicken dinner.
What the fuck?
That's amazing.
So someone's managed to kill themselves at some point.
They got really unlucky with the blue circle or something like that. Yeah.
And he comes back and he sees the screen and he just flips out. It's incredible.
That's fantastic.
That's actually another point that people were kind of getting frustrated with PUBG was people were AFK farming. So statistically, if someone's going to be AFK, they'll be at the end of the plane route where it automatically drops you off. So people automatically wait till the end of the plane route, drop out, farm the AFKs, get more points from it, buy the loot boxes, sell those loot boxes for on-game real money.
I mean,
and then you can buy that code, sell it on to G2A or one of those code distribution sites. Get bots doing that, and then hey-oh, you've got bots making real money from video games.
Arguably, aren't bots making money from video games?
Have since RuneScape.
Well, as long as a portion of that money goes to the bots and their families, I don't really see it.
And the little bot.
Yeah, no one
really.
The only one that's getting hurt is Valve, and honestly, they can take a hit. It's fine.
That'll be
For
fine.
some like little Chinese family in like some province that isn't even near Beijing, if they get to eat because some dude's written a bot and makes money off a video game, then I'm fine enough it. Like, that's fine by me. Other early accesses that kind of, I think Ark was one that was a negative press release, and I'm gonna butcher this, and I don't want to spread misinformation. I think it had like 1 million sold copies, and it was a 5 to 10 year release cycle to get it released as an actual game, and it's only releasing it, and it's like, really, that's what you call the game? I know there was more to it, but I know from memory Ark was not a very good one. If you haven't heard of Ark, it's kind of like, imagine a survival Minecraft-esque game, but with dinosaurs and fort building and shit like that. You know what I'm talking about, yeah. That didn't get too well received from early access. But then there's another game like Dead Cells, which is your... Is it rogue-esque? That kind of like...
yeah, roguelike.
Roguelike, yeah. Like, I've never played Rogue, but it's kind of like a progressively... It's like procedurally generated rooms, this game at least is, and you get to points when you get to the end of the world where you can invest points in your, like, how much gold you save if you die, because you drop all your items when you die and you start fresh and you do a fresh run and stuff like that. That's in early access, but they're like, thank you for buying this, it's going to be buggy, please let us know wherever we can fix this, because we love this game as much as you guys do, and it's improved a lot, and it's a very fun game. So it's, you have your goods, your bads, and you just, general, cool.
I don't know if a full version of like Starbound has even been released yet.
Oh, that is...
Has a full version of that been put out?
No, they're in second technical alpha.
Because that has been in quote unquote early access for like 5 years.
Yeah, and it's
not a bad game.
It's
just Space
what
Terraria.
what No Man's Sky wanted to be, but people are early access buying literal $1,000 ships to fly in it, and it's not even out yet. What's stopping that company just going, get the money in the briefcase, Jim, and just run? Oh, sorry, we ran out of money. Like, it's almost like a Ponzi scheme or a scam at the end of it, and that's kind of...
Cuba doesn't care for your gaming troubles.
Yes, seriously. Come, buy cocaine and a villa, you'll be happy here.
I'm sorry, it says here we delivered that game. But...
Yeah. I guess that's kind of... We're just going to be going a bit like old records, skipping and repeating and shit like that if we go over these topics anymore. But let's kind of jump towards what games we've been playing recently over the last week. Ethan?
I feel like it's a good place to wrap up.
Yeah.
Every week.
Well, my armor's still very broken.
I thought you said your armor. I'm like, what the fuck? You have armor? I've been living here for a
In
week.
RuneScape. Yeah, so that's going well. RuneScape's fantastic. I've nearly finished Rabbids and Mario Kingdom battles.
Yeah, without spoiling, because I'm a few worlds behind you. How's that going?
Fantastic. It's... Initially, I was like, oh, how cute. Fisher and Paykel's my first XCOM. This is adorable. Ha ha ha. Kind of tactical, but how hard can it be? The answer is very. It's a mind fuck at the best of times in some of the later levels. And, like, once you've finished out a level, you can redo it for the challenges. You have to use some next level thinking for that. Like there are a few challenges where... After I did it, I'm like, how did I work that out? Like that.
You just have to like align your chakras and hope.
Pretty
you
much.
Get through
Yeah.
it.
I'm just like, I wonder if I do this. Oh, that's it. Like, yeah. Like, there's because it's a very strong RPG. Like, it's very well balanced, very well weighted. No character is far and away the best. They all have very good strengths and weaknesses, all within a somewhat simplistic combat thing, so it doesn't get too overcomplicated. And then, yeah, the levels and puzzles themselves, like, you know, you start out with this flat plane, where it's like, oh, walk around some cover and shoot that guy in the head and you win, woohoo! Mm-hmm. Whereas these ones, it's like, alright, now if I go through this pipe, then that pipe, then this pipe, jump through these guys and stay here, that means then I'll be able to do all the same thing with Mario and then jump off them, do some more damage. So you have to, like, think 36 moves ahead or something like that. It's nuts.
And not to mention, like, there's been times when I've been playing where it's like, I have these grandiose plans and I'm like, fuck, Peach has got a shotgun and I've just moved Mario and Rabbid Mario into position. I really just want to finish this level. Good luck, guys. And blowing the fuck up out of Mario. And there's something viscerally satisfying, just being Peach with a fucking shotgun, shooting Mario in the face and just critical and like, yes, suck a dick, stop hitting on me, you fucking dirty.
You're my plumber!
Yeah. You mentioned that you...
Peach has got a gun. Mara's on the run. She's been sick of being kidnapped.
Oh,
she's
no!
got a fucking gun.
Ow! Oh no!
Wow!
Mamma mia! Hey, that's first degree murder! Hey Mario, your princess is in another castle!
This is fucked up for me, and I'm Waluigi. Even I think this is fucked.
No, but long story short,
He doesn't agree with me.
No, it's a game that works really well. It's adult enough in its jokes and its gameplay for it to be like, yeah, okay, you know, I'm not, you know, even though it's a slower paced game, it really needs to be, because if it was faster, I wouldn't be able to keep up. There's too much going on. But there are bits that make it easy enough, so they've got like an easy mode where you can, you know, get more health. Or you go back to full health and you get extra health, and yes, that makes it easier, but it's like, no, I like the challenge. So yeah, and
but if your kid wants to play it,
yeah, absolutely, then it's just like and it's like, yeah, there's guns, but it has more of a feeling of like paintball or laser tag rather than
like Splatoon or something. Where it's not a violent shoot. It's more like laser tag.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry to interrupt, but even it references it in the story. You're not killing them. The rabbits are like fused together with some weird VI headset sort of thing, and you're just kind of releasing them from that shackle and sending them back to their own dimension.
The full release. And now this game.
Well, how do you think the rabbits get so wide?
Oh, and so yeah, bug-eyed.
Just to round
I'm
up.
not sorry.
As this is an audio-only podcast at this point, I have to indicate that I'm shaking my head.
Yeah, and they both have their eyes closed in utter disappointment. I feel so good about myself. How about you guys? What games are you playing at the moment?
Oh, just before you finished up on that, I was just wondering, who's your favourite character to play, like gameplay-wise, and who's your favourite character from like a stylistic, traditional character perspective?
Oh yeah, okay. It's got to be Rabbid Yoshi.
Just all together?
No, as a stylistic choice.
Yeah.
Because he's perfect parts insanity.
Yeah.
And nothing else. Like he's just the absolute batshit character. While all of because, you know, traditionally Rabbids are, you know, the gaming minions. They're meant to be bonkers. But Rabbid Mario, Rabbid Peach, Rabbid Luigi, they seem kind of grounded in
They take
their
on
characters.
elements of the persona and exacerbate it with a rabbidness.
Yeah, whereas Rabbid Yoshi is more rabbid than Yoshi. Like
he's closer to fucking the Tasmanian devil. He's like just insanity. He's
he just
he's
yells.
He's tongue hanging. He's fucking hilarious.
Literally, like when you use like a power move or something with another character or something, it'll be like Mario's Yahoo! Or Peach is like, okay. With Rabbid Yoshi, just that's it. Like even Rabbid Mario is like wah, like kind of like a Rabbid Mario sort of thing, but no, Rabbid Yoshi is just fucking batshit, and I love it. Favorite character is probably either Peach or Rabbid Mario. I'd say probably even Peach.
Yep.
Because while I'd like her to have vampiric gun, that'd just make her way too OP.
She'd be way too broken.
Yeah.
OP?
Like overpowered.
She would just win the game.
I repeat. OP?
Oh.
Yep. Patting myself on the back.
Oh, yeah. 0.5 out of 10.
Yeah, no, because I like the shotguns. I do like Peach's extra range though over Rabbid Mario's complete close-uppiness, but I do like his hammer and vampiric shotgun combo. Like, it's just so good. So good.
Quick question. Do any of these Marios have nipples? That are on
I think
display?
the rabbits have nipples.
There you go.
No,
They've got belly buttons.
They've got belly buttons, and they've got butts, but they don't have nipples.
I feel like Nintendo are just like strutting boldly into this nipple-filled world. Did you guys see that?
Excuse me?
In Odyssey? There's a big like hoo-ha because there's a beach scene in Odyssey and someone like and like you can see Mario's nipples and the internet freaked out.
No, I didn't hear about
And
that.
someone made a Smash Brothers mod with that as a skin. Like, Beach Mario with these guns out. Like,
well, I mean, it would be weird if he didn't have nipples, and I feel like the internet would point that out.
Yeah, or I assume
Is it
he
common?
does, but he does very much have overalls on in this entire game, so...
Yeah.
I'd like to think that they're painted on the little like gold buttons.
Yeah,
Oh,
I thought you
like
thought
the
his
back
nipples
nipples,
were painted
like
on
fucking...
overalls.
No,
The overalls are painted on
yeah, they're
gold painted
like
nipples.
you know the whatever Batman movie it was with the rubber nipples on the suit. It's like that except
Yeah.
Mario Bros. Yeah, okay, I can get behind that. Yeah, right.
I thought you just meant literally he doesn't have nipples, and when he's naked, he has to like paint on nipples.
Or even
Also
better, he's
funny.
just got buttons when the nipples should be.
Okay, and what have you been playing this week?
I've been getting into Skyrim.
Ooh.
Yes.
Nice.
See, like, I think everyone who's ever
A
played...
first throw dart from the past.
Everyone who's played Skyrim and has enjoyed it has a period of time where they first play it, like maybe 1 or 2 playthroughs, and they quite enjoy it, and then they leave it for a while. Then they discover PC Skyrim, right? And they're like, oh, mods, huh? Mods are a thing. I can play this game like 6 different times, and it's kind of different. So, like throwing a texture mod, and I haven't played like any of the DLC, so there's like Hearthstone on there, and
Yeah.
What?
not the card game, but you can like have a house and build stuff in your house and have a family and a pet and stuff. And there's like the new Dragonborn, or the old but new for me Dragonborn DLC, where there's like separate big like DLC missions, which they introduced into the game. I think the best way that I think I've ever seen a DLC in that kind of open world setting introduced. Guys just come up and attack you.
Cool.
Like,
That's pretty cool.
You enter, like, I entered a town, I entered White Run, and guys in masks just started, like, they said, "You're not the Dragonborn." So, our cult believes you're not the Dragonborn and you're lying. And started, wailing, and alright. Whips out the battle axe. And
Question: if your speech was high enough, could you say, "Yeah, I am"? And they'd be like, "Yeah, okay."
No, I think it'll defeat the purpose of the big DLC that I
Pay
paid for.
$40 for a DLC. You're not the Dragonborn.
Well,
Yes, I am. Oh shit. he
It
is.
would
Fuck.
be Bethesda style to waste $40 with 100 speech, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But no, I think a particularly good one I found is I can't remember exactly what it's called. Something along the lines of the New Start DLC.
Mm-hmm.
So it instead of the vanilla start to Skyrim, where you're kind of on the carriage as a prisoner and you get taken to Helgen and the dragon comes down and so on. I'm sure. We'll get that.
Oh
one.
yeah!
Oh my god, we'll get to that one. That's the other side. That's the not practical, amazing one. But no, but like instead you have an option of.
Sorry.
Yes, I want to talk about mods all day. But oh man. But no, you can choose like your starting point. So it says like I'm a soldier in an orcish stronghold. So your starting point will be in an orcish stronghold. Like you'll wake up in your bed.
Oh wow,
Or
that's so much better.
I was beaten and left for dead. So you wake up in the middle of a swamp with nothing.
That's
and
so
then you have to
cool.
figure
Is
it out.
that a DLC or a mod?
A mod.
Nice.
So there's
I'm getting Skyrim.
and there's no real like cutscenes or anything. It's just kind of you wake up, and that's your scenario.
I just don't want to start in that fucking same
Yeah,
start
exactly.
that I've done 20,000 times.
Exactly, that's the appeal I found in it. And the other good thing is that you're not forced to do story straight away.
Yeah,
You just kind of like
that's how I've played Skyrim. Like I could check now, but I would hazard a guess at least 400 hours on Skyrim. And I've only ever gotten past the 4th or 5th main story mission. I've literally just gone, I'm making an elf ranger character, and then I just go, woo! And explore, and that's what I've always loved about it, so that sounds fucking super
and they're varied enough that there's like a small, like, enjoyment of the roleplay element of it.
Yes, exactly.
So I'm playing an orc warrior, and I, like, am a mercenary for somebody to start with.
Yeah, cool.
So, like, I wake up in someone's house, and, like, they talk to me as if they already know me and stuff like that, because it's like obviously there's a side quest where maybe that happens and puts me in a position after that side quest has been completed, so they're talking to me like I know them and stuff like that. It's very good, but I guess it ties back into our previous conversations that we had. Skyrim's being released again.
Woo!
HD Skyrim, consoles all over.
Also,
What's backwards compatibility? Backwards compatibility is when we make you spend money again. That's what backwards compatibility is.
I initially would have been in agreement with you, but there's also fucking VR Skyrim coming, which is going to make me jack off everywhere. And Skyrim on the Switch, which is motion controls. So you can have it set up, I want to use a bow, you get your fucking, I'm going to say nunchucks, but I know they're Joy-Cons, and you do that with your controllers to do the bow. That's enough of a difference to make a old, tired warhorse of a game.
And I imagine there's a bit of like sideways joy action and
exactly.
downward chop joy action. And
Hang on, what type of joy action are we talking about here? Like, is this Is this a by yourself in your room with the lights turned low, getting really sweaty type of joy action, or is
Well, I
it
don't trust me.
not playing video games?
I'm getting pretty sweaty and the light's pretty low.
I dare say people don't want to see me like play Skyrim where I have to move, so I'd say it's
True.
pretty dark, sweaty Joy-Con action.
Could you imagine how ripped everyone's gonna get though? If
There's
like...
actually a story about that where a guy's lost 150 pounds playing VR games.
Oh, nice.
And he was a very, very, very obese man, and like I'm a large man, and I can say he's a large man, and he's like very fit now from starting from playing VR. Obviously, he's done more to that, like diet and actual workouts.
Yeah,
But that was
it
like
just
his
a
starting
kick-off
point.
point.
Maybe just 5 Big Macs a day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I mean,
was his end game like, oh man, I can't play games. I'm gonna have to get fit to play my games. Oh jeez.
Oh, jeez.
I think
Oh, I can't touch the controller. I have to play VR games, and I'm too unfit to do that. Better eat a salad.
I went to press one button and I pressed all the buttons at once because my thumbs are too fat.
If you require a special dialing one, please mash the keypad now.
Oh man.
but yeah, you were saying that Skyrim has been re-released yet again.
Yeah, it is what it is. I remember a wonderful time when you can play the old games you liked on the new consoles, but that's not the go anymore.
When was that? I don't remember that too.
PlayStation 2, you could play PlayStation 1 games on.
Mm-hmm.
True.
And then PlayStation 3 came out and
Said, nah.
and
I think it was-
and then they said, yeah, that was it. They said, no.
That's when re-releases actually like properly started.
And then Nintendo
You can play.
have caught on, even though they never really had backwards compatibility. They're now kind of like, oh, you like the old games? Would you spend money on them again?
Yes.
Yeah, valid.
And then yeah, sure, and then there are a group of people that are like, I'll fucking spend it this time. I'll spend it next time.
And
Yeah.
I'll spend it forever. I love arcade games.
I just couldn't get enough of the Minish Cap the first time.
Hey, I got that for free because I'm an ambassador, man. 3DS ambassador.
Oh yeah, get it for free.
Oh, fuck
Pay
yeah.
for it twice. But pay for it every console release that Nintendo has ever
Yeah, true.
to like play it
True.
again.
Yeah.
Well,
Interesting.
that's what they believe is going to happen, I guess.
Oh, Ocarina of Time, I did it. I paid for it again, not gonna lie.
Oh, that's different. That's Ocarina of Time to fucking Ocarina of Time 3D on a handheld.
That's like saying
That's very different.
That's like saying they painted like the Mona Lisa again, and I decided I would want one.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Fair, fair.
It's like when
Yes.
Smash came to DS. These are like games we've always wanted
Yeah,
to be
okay,
in the
fair.
palms of our
Fair,
hand.
fair.
Admittedly, when I first played your version of Ocarina of Time on your 3DS, my fucking oafishly large hands, I literally got to the Deku Tree and I had pins and needles in my hands because it was just like, I don't have petite Asian fingers and hands, so I'm like fucking claw gripping this thing. I'm like, I'm gonna break this by accident and my hands hurt, so put you down. I delete the knob, dude.
Crack, what have I done? What monster am I?
Myself, I've been playing this week a lot of Diablo. I've jumped back into season 11 of Diablo 3. This season was the release of the Necromancer, which is not to be confused with the Witch Doctor. Necromancer was from Diablo 2. He was you can summon an army of skeletons and they do your bidding sort of type. Just last night, I actually found that bone scythe I was looking for. You may have heard me go, yes! Last night. I literally spent the better part of the last 2 days just grinding rifts and just dumping all of my currencies into like RNG rolls of this one fucking scythe. And I finally did it, and it's fucking badass. It's like a full bone set of arm with a bone shield and scythe, and I've got like 8 skeletons and 5 skeletal mages. And that's been great. I've been running, this will have no bearing on you guys, but Torment 9, which it goes...
Torment 8? Torment 9? Torment 10?
The highest is 13, and you start at easy, medium, master, hell, torment 1. So I'm like 10 or 11 stages through the difficulty, and 4 from the maximum difficulty. That's been fun. I've been doing a lot of just like side work and like watching streams and shit like that I can like I need to just listen to or just like AFK from. So I've just been grinding a lot of rifts and enjoying that. I've also picked up Divinity 2 Original Sin, which I didn't really hear about, and then someone was like, this game came out 15 minutes ago on some Twitch stream. I'm like, what is this game? And then I snap bought it because it looks fucking amazing. Just a bit of context, I've actually been looking to and planning to start a D&D campaign with a few of my friends where I'm the DM, and this game is literally a generated D&D, so it's really filling that sort of like high fantasy, full fleshed out world. It is D&D. You've got your combat points and your action points. You've got like essentially the same classes with essentially the same racial bonuses. There's a lot of situations where if you're not paying attention in town and you misclick on a blacksmith's hammer, it's you stealing that hammer or trying to, and that blacksmith as a vendor hates you now and will charge you 50% more. And I'm like, well, I fucked up. And or in
this happened, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. No, that actually happened. That was a real thing. And then another thing that happened to me was because I'm an elf in that game, and the elves aren't just like, oh, help me, I'm an elf, I'm beautiful and 400 years old. In this, they're like a very bastardized, similar to D&D. Like they're a feared race,
like the drow kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. But in this instance, they've got a reason to be feared because elves are cannibalistic, but not out of like, I'm gonna eat your ballsack, blah. It's like, that's how they learn and pass off memories. So if I eat a dead person's foot, I learn all their memories, and I've found out information in the game through that. Like, this person was like fucking eviscerated in front of me. I'm like, ooh, intestines. Literally ate that, and it gave me information in the city for who I was looking for through their memories. But, I guess what I was tying that back into is a conversation I was having with the leader of this camp, and I was in this kind of like elf offshoot group in the cave, and they're like, my friend's been captured, but he can help you get out of the city, because it's like a prisoner city. And I'm like, sick, I'll get him out. And I'm talking to the big chief dude, and he's like, no, I'm not going to let him out. He stole my oranges. I'm like, but he didn't. And he's like, oh yeah, want to fight about it? I'm like, yeah. And then I was fighting half the city. Like, I was just like, you want to fight about it? And I said yes. And retrospectively, I'm like, what do you think's going to happen? I thought he'd be like, brr. But no, it was like my 2-person party versus like 15 people. And I'm just like, well, fuck, quick load. And like, I played the combat out, and I got monstrously like fucked.
You described that conversation quite well.
Yeah.
He stole your oranges. No, he didn't. Want to fight? Yeah.
Yeah. Or like, yeah. Another, like, I'm walking along the ramparts.
Time travel.
Yeah. I'm walking along the ramparts, or like the outer wall of the city, and there's like 3 people just playing cards, and they're like, hey, do you want to fucking play cards? And I'm like, yeah, sure. They're like, oh, cool, first round's free. And I'm like, cool. And then I just lose.
They get you.
Yeah, exactly. I lose, and I'm like, cool, I'm done, because I don't understand this stupid game that you're playing. And he's like, oh, but where's your fee? And I'm like, no. And he's like, want to fight about it? And I'm like, okay, there's less of you. I visibly see 3, and I now have like a half dragon with me. Yes, let's fucking go. So I fought them, and it was like, where you fought them, it was literally like a 5 square by 5 square, like the table's there, so it's a super clunky, awkward combat. Like, attacks, opportunity attacks, like, we literally stood up from the table and went, let's fucking bully. And then my dragon dude's like, that's a wooden table. And just breathed fire over everyone, and it was great, and I had the most fun, and I killed them all, and I took my stuff back that they stole from me, and it was great.
So what's combat like? Is it
turn-based? It's D&D. So you know in D&D how you've got like 5 action points,
yep.
And if you've got more, I want to say finesse or initiative, you get more action points. Or when you level up, you literally have a character sheet where you can put into have more action points. If you want to move all the way across the map, that will use your 4 combat points that you get that term. If you want to shoot a difficult shot that's long, it'll be 2.
Right.
2 might be movement. It's D&D, and it's,
okay.
Yeah,
yep.
and it's
I can conceptualize that.
It's so good, dude. Like,
yeah, I remember when I started watching you play it, and you were like, "Oh, this door's locked," and I'm like, "So break it down." You're like, "I could do that. I could do that."
And I did D&D.
And I fucking broke that shit down. my sword's very damaged now because of all the doors I broke down. I was
You
like,
should have
barrel!
used the hatchet.
True. Where did all that go?
I don't know.
Like, it just disappeared. Oh, I was drowning, that's right. I was
Because of all of the metal objects.
Yeah, probably, yeah. I just realised that now. I, went down with the ship. Because I went back to save everyone. And if I didn't go back to save everyone, I wouldn't have my party now. It would be a one-man quest, because they were still fighting the evil people.
Oh.
And so I went back and saved them, and then I went down with the ship, but I lost more of my inventory for it, so it's interesting. And there's also little interesting parts like that in town. So you just, walk around town by yourself and go, hey, I recognize you, and they're like, sick, you helped me. Excuse me. And I was just like, do you want to join
Sick, you helped me.
I'm a drunkard in this game, not just in real life. And I'm like, do you want to join my party? And they're like, yeah, sure. What do you want me to be? And you're like, cool, character creation, class, whatever. But then there's also stuff like, oh, hey, I can get you out of the city. Like, I'm like, sick, let's go. And he's just like, oh, I can only take you. I can't take your party members. So it's like, if you want to do a solo campaign, but get out of the city straight away, there's the option for that.
Nice.
And my last point about it was, I found this elf chick who joined my party, and I made her a rogue.
Oh,
she was...
yeah? Then what? Then what'd you do to her?
Fuck you. Yeah, fuck that. Yeah, fuck that. I fucked it good. I fucked it fucking good, and she was, very roguish. She had, a needle that she was poking into my neck, and I'm just like, ha ha, just, played the conversation really cool. And then... a prophet elf, or far-seeing elf, was just like, oh, there's a half-dragon in this city who can help you get out. And I'm like, cool. And then I'm like, dude, there's a half-dragon, right near to where this is. Let's talk to him. And I just picked her up in my party, and she was like, oh, I need to talk to this guy first. Can I talk to him? And I'm like, yeah, sure, let's go. And she just gutted him before I could even talk to him. She just killed him in that conversation, because he was the guy who put the brand on her cheek and enslaved her 10 years ago. And it was just like, fuck.
God damn it, bitch.
Now,
You've got me.
Now I can't do that part of the story.
You've got me, man.
Yeah.
Got me. I'm into it.
Yeah, it's fucking incredible. And that sold 500,000 copies in the first week, and that deserves it. I watched the development video of the company, and it's...
How many copies did it sell on the first day? Because it wasn't many. It had a really, really unfortunate opening day.
Not many.
Not many at all.
How many moves you got the skills to go and rock a show like this? I don't know anybody. Check with the mic. Check.
Then you didn't sell many copies.
I think that's a pretty good place to end it tonight. Any
Yeah, it's
closing
always
thoughts?
good rapping to describe at the end of a podcast.
Well, I think we've run out of things to do.
Thank you guys for watching the show, listening to the show. I don't know where I'm putting this up.
PALcast.
Yes,
PALcast.
PALcast. And the bear trap will catch you next week. Thanks, ladies and gents.
Bye!